But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be in airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6, 9, 7.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and tonight we're here with Ash, the Reptilian from Mars, and we'd like to say hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Wednesday night, which is one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal. Oops. The government, academia, 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. Like I said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific is when we do this. And, of course, part of this whole thing is including you. And I always say I have no inside sources, no secrets, none of this. I get my information off the internet and out of the news cycles, just like you probably do. And I think it's a curious mix of contradiction, and that's why we do this show, because nothing seems to make sense. The more you focus on one thing or the other, the more they're moving the shiny object and changing the narratives and all this stuff, right? And it seems like it's well orchestrated to confuse us, and that's what this is about. That's what this show's about. That's what it's about, kind of trying to claim back reality, our reality, as it were. And so that's what we do. And as part of it, like I said, no inside sources here. I don't actually have a Galactic Federation ambassador, as Ryan Gable says in the commercial there, but I do have Ash the Reptilian from Mars, so well, take that for what it's worth. But it is what it is. So real quick before we get to Ash, we are streaming on DLive, Rockfin, YouTube, and Twitter, and of course we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. That number is persistent, by the way. So what that means is if you're listening to this on the podcast feed and you hear something in this that you think everybody has to hear, you can call and leave a voicemail. So one more time, 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Phone number's there. Discord link is there. And also join the Fringe FM Discord as well. One program time, 2 different chat rooms. I'm watching all the chat rooms, by the way, trying to keep up with everything. And you can find that at fringe.fm/chat. And also, one last thing, if you want to find the easiest way to listen to Troubled Minds, just download the Fringe app from the Apple or the Android stores, as it were, the app stores. It's free, and you just wait till 7:06 p.m. and then smash the play button, and you get Troubled Minds Monday through Thursday. But all right, let's see if we have a solid uplink to Mars tonight, because you never know, orbits and solar storms and all kinds of weirdness going on out there. Let's see if we can contact our good buddy Ash the Reptilian. Beep beep. Earth to Mars. Ash, do you copy? Ash, do you copy?
Hello, humans. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Well, like I said, I can speak for myself, but as far as the invasion and the rest of the humans, they're on their own, sir. I do have an inside source, and it's you, my friend. So eat me last. I would appreciate that.
Well, yeah. It's a lot of people, man. It's going to take a while for me to even get to you. I think you're going to be good.
All right, that's cool.
You're going to be safe. Yeah,
that's cool. I like being good. All right, so welcome back to the show. As everybody knows, Ash is the here and there co-host. He spent a lot of time with us in the past, and he has a YouTube channel. And we're going to talk about UFOs tonight, as you would expect. And you want to tell people about your YouTube channel before we get going, my man? I mean, my lizard.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, my scales. My scales, I don't know reptilian slang. Yeah, hi, I'm Ash, the Reptilian from Mars. Long friend of the show. I used to do a lot of shows around here, for better or for worse. And I have my own YouTube channel. It's Ash the Reptilian from Mars. Check it out. There I talk about mostly aliens, but all kinds of different crazy stuff. Everything from animals, crazy animal stories, to UFOs, to disclosure aliens, all kinds of stuff. Ghosts. I got some ghost stuff coming up. So check it out. I'm going to be releasing more content, and with that, I will be more active. So you'll hopefully see me around more often. So thank you for having me. Appreciate being here, and it's good to see you guys and everyone in the chat. And I think we got a good show tonight, and it's gonna be a classic Mike and Ash. We got short names, Mike and Ash. It's good. Mike and Ash show. Nice classic Mike and Ash show. So.
It is good.
Thanks for tuning in. It's good to be here.
Thanks for spending your time with us. All right, so let's start here. So as you guys know, one more time, we're as you know, we do have Ash here tonight, but we are taking your phone calls per usual. And the things that we do is do remember that everything we talk about is non-linear and of course open-ended. So if you want to kind of take like a tangent and a kind of a U-turn and sideways and this, that, the other thing, we're all open to that. We're open to all the ideas here, and the idea is that we're supposed to start a conversation, and so that's our job tonight. We got some stuff to talk about. There's some news recently with Lou Elizondo, and everybody knows this guy, right? The ATIP guy, that the government insider. That's he seems to have a somber tone these days. It seems like he's been talking about specifically some things that may not be as happy, which of course is interesting coming from a guy that worked inside the government working on a UFO program. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but it leads us down this path of what's going on? I mean, like there's lots of people in the one camp that say Lou Elizondo, he's a government agent and all this stuff, and all the disclosure stuff that we're seeing from the mainstream media is all just a bunch of BS, okay? Because, he worked with the CIA and all this other stuff, and you can't trust Lou Elizondo, right? I'm not so sure that's the case. I think it's a little more complicated than that, but as usual, I don't have the answers, all right? And so neither does Ash. We're making our best guesstimates here, and so that's why we include you. So one more time, 702-957 and 1037 troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. So let's start with this. This is from exopedia.org, okay? And what we're talking about tonight is specifically this idea. So let's begin here, and then we'll get into what Lou Elizondo said in Ash's video and some of this other stuff. So the breakaway civilization idea, okay? What this means is this. This is straight from a definition here from a Richard Dolan sort of situation. Let's see. Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. All right, so here's the thing. The term breakaway civilization was coined by Richard Dolan after his exhaustive and extensive research into his books UFOs and the National Security States Volume 1 and 2. He came to the realization that the deep, secretive, black budget world had actually become a civilization of its own, with its own exotic technology, a different view of the cosmos, our place in it, and a different version of human history. In one of his lectures in San Mateo, he defined a breakaway civilization as a radically advanced and increasingly separate structure that has access to classified science and data denied to the rest of us. In After Disclosure, he described a breakaway civilization as follows. Quote, "There is a clandestine group that possesses technology that is vastly superior to that of the mainstream world, the ability to explore areas of our world and surroundings presently unavailable to the rest of us, possible interactions or encounters with the others who are here in our reality, and scientific and cosmological understandings that give them greater insights into the nature of our world. A significant built-off-the-grid infrastructure, partially underground, that affords them a high degree of secrecy and independence of action." I think that's probably comprehensive enough to get us going here, but we hear this term from time to time. I hear it most times when you hear Alex Jones, beating his chest and howling at the moon, doing Alex Jones things. But he brings up the idea of a breakaway civilization often. And the question is, though, what exactly does that mean? And if that's really the case here, then the upside down we talk about all the time on this show seems to be legitimate, doesn't it? What's your thought on that, Mr. Ash, the Reptilian?
I was a little skeptical if breakaway civilization should be. This is let me start over. So this is a large subject, right? And there's a lot there. There's a lot of directions you can go in. There's so much information to process. Most of it we don't know. A lot of it's hypothetical, all this kind of stuff. So I wasn't sure if we should go in the direction of the breakaway civilization. But after hearing that explanation, I think you hit it right on the head, nail on the head. It's we are talking about something that's kind of we hear rumors about, we're not sure about for a long time, an unknown, right? And we hear all these things. We just we can't decide which ones are true, which ones aren't. I mean, there are underground bases. The government does hide secret tech to have an advantage. Now we can confirm that there are UFOs. They are 100% real, or 99% real, right? We can say that with confidence. So that has advanced the conversation, and so as the conversation gets kind of closer and closer to the truth, well, hopefully, seems right. We can kind of start to look at the in between, the stuff we're not sure of, and kind of throw some stuff away and get some new stuff. And as far as the breakaway civilization, this is that unknown, right? What is the technology? What kind of exotic tech do they have? What is the culture, right? Is it a threat to like modern society? Do they think of themselves as better? If they've moved on, what are we? Are we just, a GDP, right? Or do we just generate resources? We look at the military budget every year. It's ginormous. I don't know if you guys ever look at the budget. It's mostly the military. It's kind of insane. So now, where's all that money going to and all that stuff? So this video, I released a video recently where Luis Elizondo he sits down for his longest interview ever with Toe. It's a YouTube channel. It's the Theory of Everything podcast. If you guys don't know who Luis Elizondo is, he was the head of the ATIP program. It's now defunct. That studied UFOs on behalf of the government, right? And so he is responsible. Partly, it's not just him. It's definitely an agenda within a collective of people within the government to get this kind of information out and help. He was part of the Tom DeLonge thing and all that stuff, getting these videos out. So he had this really long interview. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. on that channel. I really highly recommend it. We're going to cover a lot of stuff from that tonight as we talk about this narrative, right? And I'm going to be yanking stuff, and we watched it, not together. We didn't hold hands and watch it together, but we did watch it, and there's a lot of information there. We're not going to cover everything because it's just so much. So I highly recommend watching that as we talk about this subject, breakaway civilization, the government, why maybe these things didn't come out. That's kind of what the video I just launched is about. And all kinds of stuff. And of course, they got the technology from someone, and the classic aliens, right? So we'll be talking about all that stuff tonight.
There you go. And so the question here is this: what are your thoughts on this? That's where we're beginning tonight. We're talking about these secret technologies, right? Whispered in conspiracy corners around the globe, sort of thing. And it's weird, like some people claim that these med beds exist and things like this, right? And that we have real actual technology that could cure all these things that they're just not allowing us to be privy to. And it kind of fits into a lot of things we've been talking about recently on this show, specifically with the elite class, the oligarchs, as it were, whatever you want to call them. Like Kelly out there says he doesn't like calling me elites because it's more of a nice term, and we should be calling them much worse than that. And I kind of agree. Right. But basically, if they have this class of people that's so far removed from normal reality, not just budget-wise, clearly that's what makes them this whatever class of people they are, and this breakaway civilization. If that's the case, and they do have these secret medical technologies where they do have med beds, they do have they can cure cancer, they can extend lifetimes of people for maybe another 100 years, another couple, 300, 400, 500 years, who knows. And so that's some of the strangeness here is as described in this Richard Dolan piece. How much do you believe about this? I think that's the deal here. I mean, clearly there's, just DARPA in and of itself, they have some technologies that are probably, let's say, out of this world, okay? And not even necessarily extraterrestrial type technology, but definitely so far ahead of the private sector because, of course, it's the Defense Department, right? So you would expect, in keeping the world safe, we have to make the biggest bomb, right? And take that allegory or analogy as far as you want. But this is what it turns into, is how much of this could be true, and how far advanced are they? So just DARPA itself, clearly everybody knows they're way ahead of us. You take the next step and you look at these breakaway civilization type things, which, by the way, not too long ago on this show even, we talked about how Jeff Bezos is getting together with a bunch of scientists and giving them basically an endless budget and a secret laboratory to bring about immortality, right? Like, that's literally what this was all about. It didn't get a ton of press, okay, but, well, we're keeping our eyes on the news cycle. So when this stuff comes and goes, right, it's there's hints of these things actually happening in real time right now. So what if, let's say, Jeff Bezos, right, one of the richest men in the world, let's say he's not even privy to this technology yet. Let's say that this is old money, right? Let's say this is people from 50 years ago type thing that have just been carrying on, after the Roswell crash and after all the rest of this stuff, the national security state, the National Security Act that was actually enacted in 1947. I mean, there's a lot of things here that sort of line up to the idea of this breakaway civilization. And so the question is to you, for you guys tonight, is how far do you think this goes? Do you think it's actually to the point where we do have a breakaway civilization in the sense that they're zipping around in flying saucers and UFOs, right? Or whatever exotic propulsion type craft you want to call them, and able to maybe zip in and out of our dimension, right? And as described in this crazy definition here of the breakaway civilization, have they, here we go, possible interactions or encounters with the others who are here in our reality? Is contact here, and has it been made? So all of that, how much of that do you think is real? That's the question for you guys tonight. If you guys enjoy this type of conversation, do the thing, smash the thumbs ups, spread the word, all that good stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. So I guess just sort of speculating, Ash, is how far do you think this does go? So we'll get to this Lou Elizondo thing here. We can't blow all the good stuff in the first segment here, but gotcha. How deep does this go? Is this one of those situations where it's just, maybe some, kind of DARPA type stuff? Or are we talking like 1,000 years ahead of us? Now, what do you think?
So good question. You said a lot there, and I'm gonna try and just kind of hit those points real quick. How advanced is it? Okay, great. So there's actually a phenomenon. I forget where it comes from, guys. So I'm sorry, I don't have a source. I don't have any of this. And you should just not believe me, right? So I could have made it up in my head. I don't think so, but I remember that there was a time when the government did kind of phase away this portion, became really secret black box. There was it was like the great recruitment or something, where basically America went throughout the world and recruited the most talented, genius people to work on these most secret projects, right? So, we've heard the story of Bob Lazar, where they just cutting open UFOs and blowing them up, and it just seems as if the government had this problem of trying to reverse engineer this technology for a long time, and they needed the smartest minds because they were on the cutting edge of progress, right? And I think that a lot of the technology that we have these days comes from those things. We all have these iPhones. I'm pretty sure, these things are alien to some degree, right? This is alien technology, and that around that time period, we had an explosion of technology. I remember building my first computer, and the computer advancing so quickly with circuits and processors and all these kinds of things. And I bet you could trace it back to these moments. And so, yeah, how much do I believe? Dude, just look at your phone. That's all the evidence you need. Do you really believe that we've progressed this quickly on our own in a vacuum? A lot of our elites, I'll use that dirty word, a lot of the culture has all these ideas of what our culture should go to, our progress, our technology. Where are they getting these ideas? It's almost seamlessly from thin air. They talk about the singularity, where a great AI will become our god, our techno god, and all this kind of things. Are they just drawing from other civilizations that they've been privy to? I've always believed that alien and UFO disclosure and all this is super important, because it's basically yes, we can progress as a civilization and do what we naturally and all this stuff, but once you see aliens and these other cultures that are way ahead of us, you can kind of cheat. You can be like, okay, well, we should have warp drives, we should have this, we should have that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that our contact with these beings have influenced us, our technology, our culture, all that stuff indirectly. But now we have this hypothetical, right? It's all but confirmed breakaway civilization. How much have they been influenced? Do they have their own culture, their own technology, their own everything? And if we're not aware of things and they influence us, isn't that wrong? Isn't that the definition of what we should be careful and aware of? And so these are all profound things, life-changing things. You mentioned med beds, right? You just hop in the bed and fix up the old tweak in the leg, right? It's if these technology exists and is not distributed, isn't that evil in itself? Or maybe by jumping the shark, by becoming advanced too quickly, we are hurting ourselves. We are denying ourselves that natural progression and thus endangering our own civilization, which I think is a legitimate argument. But going back to my first point, soaking up all the talent, leaving us with nothing, right? Yeah.
And here we are trying to figure it all out. As always, right? Trying to pick up the pieces and put it all together. And they're scattered to the wind. And so the question tonight is this, regarding breakaway civilizations. How deep do you think this rabbit hole goes? Are the UFOs that everybody sees zipping around actual humans with advanced technology? Love to hear your thoughts on this. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're here tonight with Ash the Reptilian. Don't go anywhere. More Breakaway Civilizations, Troubled Minds, and you when we return. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and tonight we're here with our good friend Ash, the Reptilian from Mars, and we are streaming on Rockfin, DLive, YouTube, and Twitter, and we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And we're taking your phone calls as we discuss the Breakaway civilization. How deep does this rabbit hole go, and is it possible that human beings are actually flying around these advanced propulsion type craft that we know as UFOs or UAP in the modern parlance, which I kind of don't care for. I prefer UFOs. But that's the question tonight. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org and click the Discord link, and we'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. And so that's the question tonight. That's what's on my mind, and hopefully that's what's on the mind of our good buddy Ash. Let's see if we can tune into Mars. Beep, beep. Ash, are you there? What's up, buddy?
Hello. How are you doing?
Doing good. Doing
and
good.
We're
All
back.
right. So that's what's happening here. We're discussing the idea of the breakaway civilization. You know, we've brought up advanced propulsion, UFOs, maybe time travel. We haven't touched on that quite yet, but who knows what's going on? Contact with the others, the whole med bed thing. What actually is this part of? Is this fiction? Or is this something that's being hidden extremely well from us as we go tonight? So thoughts there before we get into the rest of the stuff, when we do have a phone call coming in that we'll take in just a sec here. But what are your thoughts on that? And where did this come from, by the way? You want to tell us about that interview with Toe real quick, and Lou Elizondo one more time?
Yeah. I think we can kind of probably gloss over it a few times, right?
Yeah.
By the way, Mike, I can hear myself now. I'm going to take off my headphones for a sec. Basically, what kind of started this conversation is a video that was an interview that was Luis Elizondo. Elizondo, I always have trouble saying his name, was the head of the ATIP, a former defunct UFO program. It was basically the government coming out and saying, we've been studying UFOs, which makes UFOs officially real. So, very interesting person to follow. And lots of information has come out since then. He went on the YouTube channel Toe, which is the Theory of Everything podcast. It was his longest interview ever, where they talked about, all kinds of stuff: remote viewing, UFOs, disclosure, strangeness, orbs, everything. And I've got a lot of notes from all this kind of crazy stuff out there, but what's interesting about this is he mentions that he's been dropping breadcrumbs. That he was asked, does the government drop breadcrumbs? For as far as Alonzo probably knows more than he alludes to, right? But he kind of he won't say things specifically. He kind of talks around it, and that he himself has dropped a lot of breadcrumbs, and that over time, you can go back and listen to his content and hear kind of realities, some certain truths. So watching him, he's an important person, I believe, to follow and learn from, and with the breadcrumbs and learning about all this like secret stuff, right? He's one of the insiders, and we can use this interview and other interviews to kind of gleam into this secret world, this breakaway civilization, as they say. So that's what we're talking about tonight.
There you go. And so, as you know, we're taking your phone calls, 702-957-1037. Let's go to, I think this is Joseph in Iowa. Let's double check here. Welcome to the show. This is Joseph in Iowa. Am I right?
Yep. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Welcome to the show, my man. What's on your mind tonight?
So what really got my attention at the end there was that we could be possibly on a UFO. Like we're on the ship itself. And, yeah, that really got me thinking, because we're trying to develop all these metaverses and stuff. And what would you do on a ship? You would be in a metaverse, probably in some type of, like, you'd have to move your body. So you'd be moving in some type of fluid or something like the Matrix. That's how I imagine it. Like, it'd be like a resistant fluid that keeps you in shape, and you're running through this world, but really you're flying through space.
Interesting. That's a good one right there. Talk about actual breakaway civilization. We're on the UFO, and it's cruising through space, and we've been tricked into believing this is Earth. I like it, man. I like it. Regarding
the plot of Dark City, have you seen Dark City? It's a great movie, great sci-fi movie where the guy wakes up. It's like a pretty gothic, Tim Burton-ish kind of feel to it, and things are kind of weird. And they find out they are on basically flat Earth, flying through space on a spaceship, and aliens are studying humans to figure out what they're all about, and that beyond the city lines, there's nothing. There's just a city floating through space. So anyway, it's a great movie. I might have just spoiled it. My bad, sorry. But I recommend it. So it sounds kind of like that. It's pretty trippy. If you haven't seen that, I recommend it.
Damn it, Ash. Go ahead, Joseph.
Okay, so yeah. The other thing I was thinking is like a dedicated server. So like we have black holes. Maybe we're in tune with a dedicated server, like which would be how you would store information while you go traversing. If the black hole isn't just a giant mass that you collide with, if it's an actual hole, if you hit that hole at the same momentum it's pulling, you should be able to get through the hole, or like there would be all kinds of theories like what's beyond the hole. Maybe we could be a part of a dedicated server that is holding information. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. That's the idea of the actual Matrix. We live in the Matrix, right? The dedicated server bit is us, and we're isolated from the rest of the world, and so we here we are, rest of the universe. I mean, so yeah, I don't know. I think.
Which would kind of explain like orbs too. Like why can't you see aliens? Like if you see an alien, like why isn't it in our frequency? It's not like a being. You see like people talk about like orbs and stuff though, and like energies and vibrations and all this other stuff. Like it, and that's a little bit more believable.
Yeah, well,
like we're.
Go ahead.
Like
Ash.
we're in a games. Oh, sorry, Mike. Like we're in a game server, right? That we are, and that. Yeah, there's so much weird paranormal stuff that doesn't make sense unless we are in like the Matrix, right, or a game server or something like that. Because then, if an admin comes over and he's looking around, he could be represented as an orb, right? And that makes no sense in a nuts and bolts kind of universe. But in a game universe, anything's possible. Ghosts, werewolves. I think in the Matrix, werewolves and ghosts and all this kind of stuff are from previous iterations of the Matrix, more fantasy, creative versions that are kind of leftover remnants that made it into this Matrix. So, yeah, it's a pretty interesting concept. Good stuff.
Go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, that was basically it.
Okay, fantastic stuff. So then, you think this is likely that we have an actual breakaway civilization? Just the implementation here is what's kind of up in the air. I appreciate the phone call. Always great stuff for you, my friend. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling.
Yep.
Right on. Have a great night. There you go. Thank you. Joseph and Iowa, good stuff. Thanks for kicking us off and testing the phone line. Everything works swimmingly, and digging it. So tonight we're talking about this, the breakaway civilization, that whole idea, and how deep does this rabbit hole go? A couple good ideas there from Joseph to get us started. And what are your thoughts on this? I think this is it's a wild one because, we talk about UFOs in the context of aliens, right? In many cases. But if that's not the case, and let's say the aliens, well, let's say they're dimensional. Let's say archons or this, that, the other thing, right? The like I said last night, the last couple nights, I'm on to DMT machine elves or whatever, right? Whatever in some other realm, maybe that's what's going on with the aliens. But if the things we see in our realm, right here specifically, is actually humans flying around UFOs, that's not aliens at all, is it? That has nothing to do with that. And so, well, unless of course they, got technology granted or loaned or reverse engineered it, like Bob Lazar said in the past. Who knows, right? I think that's what this is all about. How deep does this rabbit hole go? Pretty good thoughts there from Joseph. Anything on that, Ash, that you want to chip into what he said there?
Yeah. No, yeah. First off, thank you for calling in early in the show, right? We're getting warmed up. You call them before the coffee and the booze kick in, right? so thank you for calling in, and appreciate anyone who calls in, right? And look, we'd like to hear what you guys have to say. We're not gonna come here, we're not gonna attack you, right? We're gonna spin off what you guys say, and you guys have some really good takes. So yeah, it's like, I guess the idea is like, what even is reality, right? And like, I think that's like the human mystery that is probably beyond human comprehension. It may even be beyond ET comprehension, right? I've heard rumors that ETs aren't exactly sure either, and they're trying to figure it out. Maybe we're just an AI exploring itself, that we're all ones and zeros. We're part of one being. I've heard of this, where we are one being fractured, and our energy cycles in and out from, that one consciousness. If there's a reality, that has its limitations, right? But if you go inward, if you go into technology, you can kind of build your own world. We have Mark Zuckerberg metaverse that's coming around, as right on schedule, dystopian Black Mirror. But, is it dystopia if you create your own reality, your own life? And maybe that, we agree to be here. This is voluntary, or we are part of something larger. And I think humans starve for those answers, right? What is the universe? What is everything? I mean, if you just look at biology, we're made of like trillions of cells, and then we're all part of the planet, and we are like a hive organism. And in theory, we're like part of Earth, and Earth is an entity that we are its blood. You know what I'm saying? We are part of a greater thing, and then little things are part of us. There's trillions of cells and creatures living in you, and they don't know where they are, and they make up you as a consciousness. So if you extrapolate, how high does that go, right? Is the universe an eye? Is a galaxy a blood vessel? It's pretty trippy. You take a little bit of the Mars maybe juice, you smoke a little bit too much of that, and will have you believe in all kinds of crazy stuff. So, but then again, mind expanding, altering drugs and all this kind of stuff. It's like, what is reality? And anyone's guess is as good as another person's, because so we definitely do not know.
Yeah, exactly. But
breakaway civilization, what do they know? Right?
Do they know?
Do they know better than us? I mean, if you listen to Alonzo's interview, he that dude knows a lot of stuff, man. He's very well read on a lot of these things, and I believe he knows a lot more than he lets on from after watching enough interviews and stuff. But yeah, anyway, Bring it back to topic. Breakaway civilization. That's right.
All right. So let's play some of this. This is from this video was cut up by Ash the Reptilian from Mars. You can check out his channel. Link in the description. Right there on top. You can't miss it. So this is the thing. Let's play just a little bit of this, and you guys can see what we're talking about. What Lou Elizondo is describing here with this breakaway civilization. We'll just play a minute or two. But again, we're taking your phone calls. What are your thoughts on a breakaway civilization? How deep does a rabbit hole go? As Joseph described, is maybe everything that we know is not the reality that is actually happening around us. And as part of that, it would be this, who would it be? Who's controlling all this? So let's play some of this. This is again from the original podcast is by TOE, which would be Theory of Everything. The link is also in the description below. Check it out. It's very, very long. It's very in-depth. It's very good stuff. But here's a short clip that Ash put together. Let's play this and see what Lou Elizondo had to say.
To them, I have a follow-up question to what you just said, which is there are wolves that are watching you like a hawk. Is there another reason outside of national security that they don't want you to disclose what you may disclose, or they're worried you may?
Yeah, I mean,
what is their worry outside of that?
There have been, forbidden truths, we can call them, if you will. There have been forbidden truths in the history of not just our country, but many countries. Truths that could upset a balance that's been around for a long time. Let me give you case in point. Let's say there were some people that were doing their job by running a UFO program in the past, but because certain things happened, presidents were no longer briefed, people in Congress were no longer briefed who should have been, and now they're running an operation that's considered rogue, but it's still an important mission. It turns out, all of a sudden now, let's say hypothetically, the cat's out of the bag. What's going to happen to those people when the government realizes they were running operations, for better or for worse, without any oversight, without any legal oversight, right? Who's going to be held accountable for that? The fact that they did not brief legally like they were supposed to certain members of Congress and committees and oversight committees and their chain of command. That's potentially criminal action. Let's
kill that, and we'll pick that up in just a sec here. So you see what he's saying. He's basically alluding to precisely a breakaway civilization. He's talking about a section of the government that at some point in the past broke off to do their own thing, operated without insight, right, with their own budgets and everything else. And, well, would that be, like Ash said earlier, if they have this advanced technology and they're not sharing it with the world, would that be the epitome of evil? As people are dying the world over and they possibly have technology that could save lives, but they don't want to do that because, well, why? It's the same reason we talk about why billionaires are, more interested in not helping solve the world's problems. They're more interested in accumulating more and more power, right? There's something happens to the human psyche once you think maybe that you're a pharaoh, as we've talked about recently, right? Maybe the modern day pharaoh sort of complex, where the mortal transforms through wealth and power into the immortal. And so, if that's the case going on with these breakaway societies, I think it is. I think it is an evil situation. But pretty wild stuff here as he's describing. And again, as Ash said, this guy knows what he's talking about because he seems to have been read into a bunch of this stuff, and he's describing exactly the breakaway civilization we've been talking about. Anything on that, Ash, as we go with the Lou Elizondo stuff as he's describing really probably what's happening in the world around us?
Yeah. So I think it was Bill Cooper. I watched a long interview of Bill Cooper, and he was basically saying that the way this infrastructure was built was it was built kind of over time, and that this breakaway civilization that none of it really makes. It's like there's all these different independent rumors and documents and stuff, but what binds it all together, what makes it make sense, is the ET component, the most secretive component of it, because the ETs, our contact, our interactions with these other beings, he was saying is the catalyst, is the thing that pretty much started this whole secrecy in the first place, right? You know, Eisenhower warned that the military-industrial complex was too powerful, and that it was basically, he was warning exactly this, of a breakaway civilization. That was a long time ago. Back then, it wasn't a breakaway civilization, but now it's been there long enough that it probably is, right? Imagine the technology. Imagine just normal progression, right? What we have the phone, right? Like look at how we communicate. Look how crazy of an advancement that is. Well, look at the energy sector. There hasn't been any changes. Tesla, that's it. We went from like a phone, like a landline brick piece of POS, right? And now we have these like crazy phones with touch screens. I can literally like yell at my phone and it does stuff. AI, all this kind of stuff. There are these fields that have been just clamped down and limited to, and that they go to these black budget projects. And like you said, what is evil? Like like climate change. You know, everyone's up in arms over climate change. Okay, bring out the 0-point energy. Just bring it. I'm not the one who I use gas and I use all this stuff. I don't want to. Just roll out the 0-point energy. You got it. Just roll it out, man. Just literally go downstairs, go into your basement, underground base, roll it into the elevator, and come upstairs with it. That's all you got to do. But as you know, in that book, Behold a Pale Horse, and all this kind of information, it's basically like once they became clandestine, once they've breaking away, you become illegal. You're not briefing Congress, you're not briefing the Senate, you're not briefing the right people. And the longer you do these things, the more illicit, illegal acts you accumulate, and then eventually it becomes, you know, you can't return, right? Like, what's that saying? You've gone too far. Right, everything you do is illegal and a secret, and so you know there are a lot of different levels to this, and it's funny. It's like, you know, we are destroying this planet. This planet is dying. Like, I've been looking at the data, and I know that climate change and all that's controversial, and I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about our consumption of resources, all this kind of stuff. I mean, we're taking junk from the underground and pumping it into the air. I mean, think about how stupid that is. We are doing that ourselves, right? So whether or not we can argue over like what specifically it's doing, we're still doing something dumb. And for us to be destroying our planet and ruining our potentiality for civilization when we've had it for decades and decades, it's asinine, right? It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. And so Alonso mentions this in that interview. It's time to come out. And, you know, maybe we do need to like forgive these people. We need to give these guys a pathway. Because he says it himself, the truth is more important than going after these people. You know, so we can offer an olive branch, get this stuff out. Then we can go after them anyway. Interesting topic.
Definitely. All right. So that's what we're on about tonight. This breakaway civilization stuff. How deep does the rabbit hole go? What do you think is actually happening here? Lou Elizondo seemed to hint recently in this interview with Toe, that would be Theories of Everything on YouTube. He does a podcast, great work there. He's hinting that there is some sort of breakaway civilization that has commandeered basically the technology humanity should have. And so what is the truth here? That's what this is all about. Love to hear your thoughts as usual. We're talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. And the question for you is, how deep does this rabbit hole go? How long has this been going on? And are we being left out in the cold when the heat is going on with 0-point energy and all kinds of other stuff? So we're taking your phone calls, and we're here with Ash the Reptilian from Mars. And yeah, that's what's happening. So 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're here with Ash. And more Troubled Minds, breakaway civilizations, and you after the break. Be right back. The alien abduction phenomenon.
The aliens are looking through your eyes and they're accessing your optic nerve. I'm doing fantastic. Through that optic nerve, they're transferring to your brain. People are random images as they traverse neurons in your brain.
All right, so maybe,
and they also feel them planting.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and tonight we're here with our good friend Ash, the Reptilian from Mars, and we'd like to say hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. This show's live. We get together Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. Do it at 7 p.m. Pacific. And what are those things, you may ask? That's right. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. As we do this, we'll talk about all the crazy stuff. We're taking your phone calls. Like I always say, I have no inside sources. I don't know anything you guys don't know. Just kind of asking some of the questions that are really becoming verboten. And that's what this is about. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you want to be part of the show tonight, give us a call. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we'll put you on the show. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. And simple as that. Discord's an amazing thing. It's a chat client. It's a voice client. It's completely free. And it's a way to get around the long-distance charges from places like, I don't know, let's say Australia or South Africa, or let's say the United Kingdom. Or we have people listening to this show all over the world, and so Discord's a free way to do it and communicate, and it's a fantastic thing. So there you go. A couple more things real quick, and we'll get Ash back. We are streaming on Rockfin, D-Live, YouTube, and Twitter, and we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And so if you want to be part of the show, you know what to do. And yeah, that's what's going on, and that's what we're doing. And tonight we're talking about the breakaway civilization, that entire theory regarding a situation where we have a select group of people who have achieved some sort of technological superiority, okay? And whether that's medical, whether that's med beds we talked about, whether that's going to be situations like people flying around UFOs, dimensional travel, possibly even time travel. Maybe the thing is this, right? If humans have actually progressed to this level of technological advancement, then flying to another planet in no time with an advanced propulsion technology is going to be nothing. Like, we could maybe have, civilizations out there on other planets or moons of planets already. Like, if this is the case, and this has been going on for some time, that's what's on our mind tonight. So one more time, love to hear your thoughts on this, but let's see if we can get a hot, solid uplink to Mars. And beep, beep. Ash, test 1, 2. Are you there, buddy? Ash the Reptilian. Test one.
From Mars. What's up? How you doing?
Well, what's
Welcome
up,
back.
buddy? Good. Yeah, you as well. So this is Ash. He's a good buddy of ours. Been with the show for quite some time now, co-hosting. And by the way, we met with Ash just calling into the show one night. He's like, "Hey, what are you talking about? This is crazy stuff. Let's talk." And here he is, co-hosting the show from time to time. And he spent a lot of time doing it in the last year and a half, co-hosting here through the COVID era of all times, right? May you live in interesting times. But let's introduce yourself and tell the folks what about your YouTube channel and all the rest of this, and we'll keep on trucking here tonight.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is Troubled Minds Radio. I'm Ash. I used to co-host quite often. I think we'll be getting a little bit back on the horse these days. You know how life is. And so, yeah, I'm Ash the Reptilian from Mars. Check out my YouTube channel. The link is in the description. And we are talking about aliens and UFOs and all kinds of crazy stuff, just like I do on my channel. A little bit more aliens than anything else on my channel, if you're into that kind of thing. And yeah, it's just a pleasure to be here. It's I do live streams and I do all that kind of stuff, but I don't get callers, right? I don't have that. I haven't set that up yet, and it's nice to hear from you guys. So it's nice to come here, chat up with some people. You've got a great community, Mike, in Discord. You guys are up at all crazy hours talking about all kinds of crazy stuff in the Discord. So if you're listening and you're interested in this kind of stuff, you can call in. You can also hop in the Troubled Minds Discord, and there's a lot of people in there chatting all the time. I mean, we had like 10, 15 people the other day just shooting the breeze, right, as they say. So yeah, anyway, good to be here. Good stuff. And yeah, we're talking about breakaway civilizations and this interview that Luis Elizondo had with Toe, the Theory of Everything podcast, and a lot of good information in there. And yeah, that's it.
And there we go. So let's do it. So we're taking your phone calls, as I said. And so basically the theory is this, right? It goes a little something like this. Let me read this and just reframe this real quick. This is the Richard Dolan take. Everybody knows Richard Dolan, one of the probably, I don't know if you want to say, you decide how credible this guy is, but he's definitely, let's say, one of the most prominent ufologists out there. I think that's safe to say. But this is a term sort of coined by him, as far as I'm aware. The term breakaway civilization was coined by Richard Dolan after his exhaustive and extensive research into his books UFOs and the National Security State, volumes 1 and 2. He came to the realization that the deep secretive black budget world had actually become a civilization of its own with its own exotic technology, a different view of the cosmos, our place in it, and a different version of human history. In one of his lectures in San Mateo, he defined a breakaway civilization as a radically advanced and increasingly separate structure that has access to classified science and data denied to the rest of us. And there's a more it continues with some of the different technologies that he suggests are prevalent with actually breakaway civilization. So there you go. If you guys want to check that out, drop in the that link there in the chat. But yeah, so the question tonight is, how deep does this rabbit hole go? Do you believe that this is the case, that there's an actual slice of society that has completely just turned into something else, and including that would be advanced propulsion, that would be possibly medical enhancements like those med beds like we were talking about, things like this, possibly dimensional travel, time travel, being able to contact the others from the other side, whatever that means, through the veil, through the dimensional shift, or whatever this is. I have no idea, right? I don't have those answers, but those are the questions we're talking about. And so we're asking you tonight, how far do you think this goes? Do you think this is a real thing? And that's what's up. So let's go to it looks like this is Mike in Maryland. What's up, Mike? Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey. Hello?
Go right ahead. You're on the air, my friend.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing, bud?
Doing very well. Go right ahead, sir.
All right. So, I don't know. That
can you get?
There was a couple of things. Have you heard?
Can you just get closer to the phone, please? You're breaking up. Get as close to the phone as you can. No speakerphone, if you can, please.
Okay. No. Okay. Let me take my
Thank you.
Take my earpiece off. My bad.
Thank you.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Try it again.
Okay. Cool. So, hello.
Yeah. Good. Loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, a couple of things. those papers that I sent you in your inbox, they were talking about quantum synthetic environments, QSEs, right? And in the papers, there's these 3 guys who volunteered. They were jumpers with Barack Obama, allegedly, and they didn't know if they were actually on a planet Mars or were they in this quantum synthetic environment. And the paperwork says that there was 140 of these things, no more than 400 miles above the Earth, and there are 140 of them on and off the planet, no more than 400 miles away. And they said that they're fully functioning cities, towns. I mean, if there's an elevator there, it works. If there's a parking garage, everything works, right? And they say that, these guys couldn't tell whether or not they were there. And it was like, okay, well, if they're doing this, I mean, this is just crazy stuff popping up. Like, there's this a city in the middle of the desert, like in the middle of nowhere. I can't think of the name of it right now, but, I mean, they're totally independent. It's built on a star grid, like how Tataria was. They have, like, free energy. They whole thing is they don't want to go to war with nobody because they don't need nothing from nobody. And it just, like, popped up out of the middle of nowhere. Like, are you hip to that? Do you know what that is?
No, I'm not sure what the name of that city is, but again, that would be exactly in line with what we're talking about here, that breakaway civilization sort of thing. I haven't got a chance to look at those papers. As you know, I'm got my hands full usually putting these shows together, so it's hard for me to kind of divert into something else when I'm kind of on one thing. So I will take a look, though. I promise you I will take a look. Thank you for sending that and sharing them. So then clearly you think that the breakaway civilization stuff, you think it's real. You think this is a real thing, right?
Well, I think it's a real thing, but who's to say if it's not one of those quantum synthetic environments that these off-planet deities are put together? Like I was listening to your show earlier, one of your previous shows, where you was talking about basically we're like a science fair project. You know, we could be some kids fucking science fair project.
Hey, no cursing on the radio, please. No cursing on the radio. No cursing on the radio. Don't do it. Don't do it. One more time, and I'll cut you off.
My bad.
Don't do it. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Go right ahead.
So anyhow. So who's to say that these things are real? Because there's 140 fake ones on and off the planet, and they're made by some off-planet deities, and this is quotation marks. And I mean, okay, so the place that I'm talking about in the desert, it has all this like the same free electricity signatures that the buildings in Tartaria had, with like the chrome structure the copper structure at the top, surrounded by water. You know, it's a conduit for electricity. I mean, they have a Ferris wheel there that when tourists go, they say, well, it's not very much of a Ferris wheel because you can't really see nothing. Well, they're generating electricity through that thing by spinning it. And I mean, beautiful lights, like in Las Vegas in the middle of nowhere. And they're filthy rich, but I know it's there. But who's to say if it's a quantum synthetic environment or if it's a real deal? Pretty interesting, I think. But yeah, I think that there's stuff out there, whether it's actually real physically or if it's just a simulation like what we appear to be in. Who knows?
Yeah, 100%. And I think all of that kind of plays. Sorry, go ahead. Oh,
no worries. My cell phone is ringing, and this is my sister. I have to take it, but thank you for hearing me out. I'm going to keep listening, and you'll be hearing from me.
Go get it, brother. Thanks. That's Mike in Maryland. Appreciate the phone call. Tell your sister we said hello. Okay, so, what do you think? I know you heard that, Ash. Thoughts on that? Maybe that this is the reality, not like we suggest it is anyway. I think there's a lot there that we could probably take the ball and run down the field with.
Yeah, it mentioned some sort of sustainable, sound like some sort of future sustainable city. And I've heard about these underground bases and different things that, if they have the technology that they say they do, like, it's pretty incredible what's possible, right? Like, you just have one energy grid connected to this free zero energy point power point source. And there you go. You got a whole new kind of society, right? And, yeah, my concern is like, do they even need us anymore? Right? Have they gotten to the point where they don't really need us anymore. They kind of got everything they need, and now, what happens to us, right? But yeah, also it's kind of weird that they're always out in the desert, I guess to kind of keep things secret. A lot of things are kind of held in the desert. And then he mentioned these sort of simulated environments, right? From what I understand was, I'm not too familiar with that, but with 0 point energy, that kind of technology with all that kind of stuff that we hear rumors about, who knows what's possible, man? It could be like Star Trek, where you walk into a room and everything changes into whatever you want. I mean, the sky's the limit. And again, we've had like 60, 70, going on 80 years of secrecy, of advancement that we're not privy to. And yeah, it's pretty wild. So yeah, thanks for calling in, and I'd be interested to look at that stuff too. What you sent in, and things are always changing, and I almost feel like they're gonna. Alonzo said this in his interview. Let me see. Let me find about disclosure. He mentioned that he was going to be leaving breadcrumbs by the government. That he leaves breadcrumbs, and that there's a lot of things that he said. There are things that he said that people need to go back and listen to. And now that the conversation has progressed, but now we don't. Here's a quote from him. Now we don't need to leave as many breadcrumbs. I think the time has come to become more clear and direct. So this is a person who's sort of the spearhead of disclosure as far as semi-government. Obviously, clearly, the government faction. There's a government faction behind Alonzo, and they're pushing to get disclosure out. And he's pushing. He that was an interesting quote, saying that now's the time to become more transparent. And he's the one going around behind the scenes talking to congressmen, talking to all sorts of people. So he's basically signaling that we're almost at that point where we can start talking about stuff for real. We don't have to dance around it as much, right? UFOs are real. Craft. He constantly avoids biological entities sort of conversations. He's hinted at they have crash retrievals. All these things that we've heard. It sounds like it's about ready to start. We're ready to talking about it. So if he's signaling transparency, I wonder, going back to the caller, if these cities, these underground bases, we're just going to start knowing about them because they're going to be not going to really care about keeping them as much of a secret. I think that the government does want to come out with stuff, and they kind of have different factions and different ideas of what that looks like. Some are dystopian, some are utopian. Some are utopian, but actually are dystopian. You know what I mean? You know how that goes. You know how a tyrant's vision can be. So I think it's coming out. I really do. I think, and we're going to start hearing more and seeing more of this kind of wild stuff, right? I think you're in the right business, Mike.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if that pans out. If I get an offer from the Breakaway Civilization guys, I'm sorry, but I'm out. I'm out. All right.
That's fair enough.
fair enough. A couple good comments here over on Rockfin. Robert says this: if there's a real breakaway civilization with that kind of technology, we are so screwed, and it's hard to argue against that. Definitely hard to argue against that. So all right. So we got another phone call we'll go to in just a sec here. But so we're talking about a breakaway civilization, guys. What do you think this is? How deep does this go? Tam Bam had a great question over on Rockfin as well regarding this. Does a breakaway civilization mean that it's a civilization or a society that's gone elsewhere, or they're here hidden somewhere on Earth? And I think that's the mystery. It could be either one. There are some theories here where they describe these deep underground military bases, and maybe then able to access these entry points through the oceans, things like this. So if that hollow Earth theory and that whole bit pans out, at least in some capacity, that could be a place where they're hiding, and the normal world doesn't have the technology to kind of go search that out. So Race he says could be both, and I agree. So that's part of the mystery here, is how does this play out? Where did they go? If they did, could it be off planet? I think absolutely. If we're talking about the type of actual, UFO type technology that we've seen, that most of you are here because you've seen something bizarre in the sky, right? That's why you're here. It's not because you're like, oh, yeah, I'm kind of casually interested in UFOs. That's not the way this works, right? You see something, you're like, whoa, and then you start digging and you find communities and shows like this. So, I'm not telling anybody here anything they don't know, but if there's that situation where we have UFOs that are zipping around, kind of breaking physics as we know it, clearly they could be off planet. I think that's an easy way to put this. So both, I think both are definitely on the table. So there we go. So let's go to, looks like this is James. I can't remember where James calls from. Welcome to the show. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
James, Washington State.
James in Washington State. What's up, my brother? How you doing tonight?
Fine. How are you?
Doing well. Go right ahead. We got about 3.5 minutes, so all your time. Go right ahead.
Okay, so you're talking about the breakaway civilization. Have you heard Phil Schneider's talk about the underground bases that he went into for the government? And he said he got duped when he went in there. He didn't know that there was going to be aliens or anything like that, and they ended up getting into a firefight, and he lost his arm and all that stuff.
Correct. I've heard that story. Yep.
Have you heard?
Yep, sure have.
You've heard that? Okay. Okay, so what about Admiral Byrd and the Navy exploration to Antarctica in October of 47?
Yep, sure have. The Operation High Jump. Yep, Operation High Jump. Yep.
Operation High Jump.
Yep, sure
right.
have.
So I'm sitting here with the National Geographic from 1947 in my lap, and it's all about the whole exploration. But there's nothing really interesting or kind of unheard of in the National Geographic, but his diaries were released after he passed away, and there's supposedly talks of him interacting with the breakaway civilization.
Yes, so he says that he actually flew into the Hollow Earth. Exactly. Yep, that's part of that Operation High Jump mystery and the Admiral Byrd thing. So just to be fair and clear here, I don't know that his diaries are authentic. Just to say, I don't know. I'm not the arbiter of that truth, right. But you are correct. His diaries they were released. Some claim they're fake, but there are some pretty explosive claims in the diaries. But yeah, go right ahead.
Right, but regardless of that, the number of ships and the number of military men that they had go down there was like bigger than any adventure, any war, anything that happened at that time. So it's just bananas.
Agreed. Even if just a little bit of that is true, it changes everything, doesn't it?
Right, and the amount of money, time, and calculated risk that they took to go into this, for what? For what was their alleged reason for going down there in the first place? Just exploration.
That's what we're told. But clearly, I think that seems, at the time, it seems like they were looking to end World War II, and they wanted to make sure there were no, let's say, breakaway civilizations in Antarctica. I think that's what they were looking for.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Sure.
We got about 20 seconds, so go ahead and final thought here. I appreciate the call, my man.
Oh, well, I was just thinking, maybe there was the breakaway civilization down there that they're going after, or maybe they're doing the Indiana Jones treasure hunt to gather up all these artifacts to kind of put this technology together. Who knows, but I've been having a good time listening.
Right on. I appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Thanks for the call. James in Washington State, you're the best. Talk to you soon, my friend. There we go. Simple as that. You guys want to be part of the show? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're here with our good friend Ash the Reptilian from Mars, and we're taking your phone calls as we talk about the breakaway civilization. What does this mean? How deep does this rabbit hole go? And looking to hear your thoughts. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds, breakaway civilizations, and you after the break. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and tonight we're here with our good friend and co-host, Ash, the Reptilian from Mars, and we're streaming on Rockfin, D-Live, YouTube, and Twitter, and we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And we're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You could also join the Discord by clicking the link at troubledminds.org. That's the one-stop shop for all things Troubled Minds. You can find the phone number, the Discord link, the podcast, everything you need. Come say hi. All the social media is there, and love to see you. So, all right. Tonight, we're discussing a breakaway civilization. What exactly does this mean? How deep does this rabbit hole go? And how far back? I think we got different angles to look at this, and we've heard a bunch of amazing takes so far from you, and looking to hear some more. So let's do it. Let's get back to this. One more time, 702-957-1037. Let's make sure we're good. All right, let's see if we can tune back into Mars and get our good buddy Ash. Beep beep. Earth to Mars. Ash, are you there? Are you there?
Can you hear me, humans?
Loud and clear. Hold on. You should hear yourself. I'm going to fix that. All right. Welcome back. Everything should be fixed. Welcome back, Ash. How you doing, my friend?
Nice. What's up, man? Oh, man, you got a toggle thing every time? Oh, man.
I'm pushing so many buttons you have no idea. That's why they pay somebody to do this on a real radio station. I'm like for pressing all the damn buttons.
It's funny. Alex Jones, Tim Cast, that guy from the conspiracy theory, Michael from like the Anarchist channel, they were all in a trailer doing a show recently, and it was a wild show, dude. And it was like anyway, Joe Rogan was like trying to figure out what's going on here, and they're trying to look something out. He's like, what is this crap? You guys don't have a Jamie? Joe Rogan Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, it's that usually they pay like somebody else. There's like a second person, like the engineer or whatever, that does all the stuff and does all the faders and all the things and pulls up the links and puts the videos. Nope, that's all me. I've got 6 hands. See, that the rumor may be true. I actually have 6 hands and I am an alien. You never know. All right.
It all makes sense. It all makes sense now.
It's all making sense.
Yeah.
All right. So let's play just a little bit more from your video there. If you guys want to check out this video, I'm going to link it. Ash, the Reptilian from Mars here, has got a YouTube channel, and he with this video up from the TOE would be the Theory of Everything podcast. And the crazy part is we're listening to Lou Elizondo, and he's a government insider, worked for ATIP, supposedly the UFO program inside the government. He quit because he wants to get the information out. So he says, again, some people say he's just a CIA psyop and all this other stuff. Other people say he's legitimate. Like I said, I'm not here to make that distinction. It's up to you. Again, we're agnostic in those senses, but we are considering all the possibilities as usual, right? So let's play just a little bit more of this from Ash's video. Pretty good stuff here. This is Lou Elizondo discussing this basically breakaway civilization we're talking about. So let's hear a little bit more from him and keep on trucking. Here we go. Action. Link will be in the description if you want to find this video, and I'll drop it in the chat right now. Here we go.
I said this before. Let's say you have 2 competing companies. You have Aerospace Company A and Aerospace Company B. And Aerospace Company A, for whatever reason, gets a favor and some sort of really exotic, game-changing material is provided to that company to do this analysis. Meanwhile, Company B, who is competing fairly, doesn't get that material. Turns out Company A now starts getting a lot of contracts, defense contracts, and becomes a multi-billion-dollar company, while Company B, who never had the advantage of having that material, goes into bankruptcy. Hundreds of people lose their jobs, and stockholders lose their investment. Keeping in mind that both companies are supposed to be treated fairly and have fair competition when it comes to U.S. government contracts. Now what? Now what happens? Where's the liability? And by the way, now these companies are doing good things for the United States, but they got there because they had an unfair advantage, competitive advantage, potentially. Again, I'm not. This is hypothetical, right? Where's the liability there? You're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars worth of liability. And who made those decisions to do that? Who's going to be held culpable for that? The Security Exchange Commission would not be very happy to know that two publicly traded companies were competing for a contract. One had an unfair advantage. The other went bankrupt. That's a problem. That's a real problem. And so you're talking about big money interests. You're talking about things that are going into that gray world that go beyond just government interests. You're talking about banking. You're talking about, some of the biggest names on the planet that have a lot to lose.
Well, we'll just cut it and leave it there. Like I said, if you want to watch the rest of that video, that's I linked it in the chat, and the link is in the description down below, as well as the link where all of this information came from. It is a little bit disturbing that Lou Elizondo here is basically he's dropping the conspiracies, isn't he? He's literally laying it out and saying, hey, this has been going on. We got big money interests that are bigger than governments at this point. And he's basically saying the government doesn't run jack. He's saying that there are other folks involved here, and it's a terrifying prospect because there needs to be some sort of culpability, as he said, some sort of accountability regarding this whole breakaway civilization situation. See what I did there? Say that 7 times fast. Breakaway civilization situation. But so thoughts on that, Ash? We got Night Stalker in the queue. We'll go to him in just a sec. But let's hear your thoughts first on that take.
It's a good one, man. It's I watched the interview, and one of the reasons I did this video was because it was so profound what I was hearing, right? I was pretty amazed. So basically, he's saying that the government has kind of broken away from constitutional oversight, the law, for better or for worse, and has sort of gone rogue. Now, look, he says hypothetical, right, to keep himself out of trouble. But he's communicating that this government has gone. This portion of the government, these contracts, have gone rogue and that they've broken a lot of laws, and that there's layers of issues for coming out. And I think it was one of the people involved with one of the Black projects. He said, "We can take ET home now." That's how advanced the technology was, and this was like at least a decade ago.
Ben Rich,
but it would be an act of God to get it out of open. And so, is Elizondo God? Is he acting? No, but
whoa.
He says it would take an act of God, and it looks like it's coming. He mentioned something. He said, "Well, now that the cat's out of," he said, "if the proverbial cat is out of the bag," as if he said it as if the cat is already out of the bag, and that was super interesting to me because you have to read between the lines, because he's like. When he's speaking, he's dedicating like half of his mental capacity to not saying the wrong thing. And he even mentions this. If he says the wrong thing, this whole movement is dead in the water. He literally even says, if I say the wrong word, it's dead in the water, right? So it's wild. It's like, and he was saying that these people are circling him. Well, let me see this. Here it is. There are people on the inside that are trying to trip him up, right? And that each time we see any movement in the public, anything at all, it's thousands of hours behind the scene. And he references it to like coddling children. He's spoon feeding all these different entities behind the scenes the right amount of information at the right times. If you do too much, you're crazy. You do too much, no one believes you. You do too much, you get in trouble, right? So he's got to slowly keep the ball rolling in all these different departments. So he's saying he's got a job to do, and he's been doing it, and it's a lot of work, and that he's really busy doing it. So these are important things to understand, like what's going on. So, I mean, if you want disclosure, you kind of have to be actively aware of how it's rolling out and what you can kind of keep tabs on it, right? And so this is the guy to keep tabs on. But he said there are people on the inside trying to trip him up. These are those potential entities that have a lot to lose, right? By coming out with it, and that they are circling outside of the campfire, as he calls it, like wolves, waiting for him to trip up to just take him down. That they've threatened him, that they're ready to destroy his reputation, make him look crazy, and pull his clearance. In fact, they've already attempted to do so, and to deny that he even was had a thing. And he was very upset about this. This came up, and you could tell he was really offended and upset about this. That they actually did come after him for that, because these are people that he does intertwine with, he does mingle with, right? So yeah, definitely a coordinated effort. He also mentions that he has people on the inside that he works with, and I think a lot of people are sort of concerned about that, right? Who are these people? Is this sort of people don't trust the government? Is this another nefarious plot by the government to just to kind of control the narrative, right? Where I'm optimistic, but again, I am aware of those potential issues too at the same time. So anyway, really interesting stuff. Really great interview. Again, I recommend reading it, watching it, and like reading between the lines about this, and like kind of how everything's tied up in bureaucracy at this point. He mentions NDAs and classified information, and those are laws, and you can get in trouble. I mean, someone, the caller mentioned Phil Snyder, right? That guy was murdered with a phone cord. They strangled him to death. So I mean, you see one or two of those, and you're not going to want to speak either, right?
Come on. So, also, to be fair, that was listed as a suicide. Just saying.
Oh yeah, he strangled himself.
Right, right, exactly. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah,
Jeffrey Epstein did.
Exactly.
Right, we got some calls to get to here. So just a real quick point to add to that is that when Lou Elizondo first came out and started talking about this stuff when he broke away from To the Stars Academy and that Tom DeLonge outfit. Don't get me started on Tom DeLonge. But when Lou Elizondo broke away from that and started talking kind of on his own, I was like, okay, here we go. Here's where the CIA psyop comes. Just my opinion. And then, but I think the more the information comes to light, the less I think that. And I'll tell you why. John Greenwald Jr. of the Black Vault tried to FOIA Lou Elizondo's emails. It turns out the DOD deleted all of them. Like outside of protocol, they literally deleted what was going on because, for obvious reasons, I think, because there'd be a lot of, since there's so much interest in this and it's so secretive for so long, maybe those names will come out. So anyway, there we go. We're still taking your phone calls, 702-957-1037. Let's go to Derek in Massachusetts. Derek, welcome to the show. What's up, brother? Are you there? You're on with Mike and Ash.
Going on, Britus? It's happening. Great show tonight.
Thank you very much. Go right ahead.
Thank you.
What's on your mind, my man?
The maybe juice is already flowing, but you ready for the maybe juice guys that are really start going?
Let's do it.
Ready to bring out the heavy stuff? Okay. All right. So when Nash was talking about the Star Trek thing, it got my mind jogged to a few weeks ago. We were talking about how potentially it could be that this Breakaway civilization, this like secret space program or whatever we call it, could be more like Stargate than it is Star Trek. I'm getting a tiny little bit of echo. It could be more like Stargate than it is Star Trek, and it could be that they have like there's a huge contingency in these weird paranormal groups, these weird fringy groups, that space is a little bit more confusing than we're being presented. So, but Portals surpasses all that. The idea that they've been traveling, they found ways to travel the cosmos or even just the planet way earlier than technology would have allowed them to do. So even on like, there's all kinds of like weird, there's a video of Post Malone talking about how they're actually using portals to like travel around the country, like they're not using planes on one level, and it's just like kind of a fun thing. But just the idea being that what if some ancient culture stumbled on a way to move across even just the planet like 1,000 years before they invented ships? How massive an advantage that would be for them. Even just as far as getting resources around the planet. That civilization, that group, would instantly become a breakaway civilization. They would have their pickings of all the resources all over the planet, and they would move way ahead of regular people. Like if the regular trajectory of exploration has been as we're told, with like ship travel and now space travel, et cetera, if they were doing that 1,000 years ago or more, then I can't even imagine where they would be in the information that they could have potentially gotten if they're going off Earth, you know? But just to make it really, really weird, magic is just a technology that's like too advanced for us. That's not the quote, but like that's the idea. And I think aliens are using magic. I'm like pretty sure about it. Like, why wouldn't they be using some kind of magic? You know? So what if there's this a weird like occult connection to all this? And then there's that Nat book that came out about how there's that hitchhiker thing with UFOs, how these craft have some kind of weird poltergeisty activity going on, that like perhaps this breakaway civilization is like way weirder than we think, and they're dabbling in all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's like super occult, and all these crazy fringe topics kind of converge with this secret knowledge that this breakaway civilization might know. That's a lot. What do you guys think about that so far?
Pretty good stuff. Ash, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually taking notes, trying to to make sure I hit those things. No, it's good stuff. You mentioned there's a phenomenon. Okay, so you mentioned about technological advantage. So I don't know if you're familiar with something called oh god, I was a software engineer for a while and I forget what it is. APIs. And APIs. Not really. API just lets you hook up. So like Facebook has an API, you can go to Facebook and pull data, right? Okay. So you connect with Facebook. It's basically like connecting. So the reason APIs were developed was because in the stock market, APIs came out, and in the stock market, if you have any advantage at all, you can like make a crap ton of money, right? So that competitive advantage bred wealth. So API, I would argue, is a very small technological progress compared to like some of these rumored things that we hear about, teleportations, right? So you're right on the money. If there is some sort of advantage that has, it's like it's own. They're doing their thing, and we're just the idiots doing the other thing.
Exactly.
And that's kind of always been my argument for aliens. It's like, all right, what are they doing? Because whatever we're doing, I guarantee you, there's dumb stuff we're doing that we could just not be doing dumb stuff by looking at them. So a great point about that. And along that note, you mentioned the occult. Well, magic, occult, right? Like you said, is where does one end, one begin? Maybe it's all the same. We don't really know. But if a more primitive civilization figures out technology, but they don't understand it, but they still use it, and humans are really good at that, by the way, accepting and adapting, and not even knowing what the heck it is or how it works. Humans are really good at that. So if they're using the occult to connect with these beings, whatever they are, or even if it's a breakaway civilization from a previous generation of us, right? That's a trippy thought. Like if the world goes under now, those underground bases and that culture is going to remain. And then it may be 1,000 years, we reset and we start figuring, we have a podcast again in 1,000 years. And and we think those underground based people are aliens when they were just us from 1,000 years ago or whatever. So anyway, the occult, if they're reaching out and connecting with these beings, they're creating that technological advantage, whether they understand it or not. And they're creating their own breakaway civilization. And that's probably what this occult, these secret societies have been. Because, I think we're coming to the conclusion that they've been here for millennia, always, maybe even created us or influenced us. So those are really good points. Good stuff.
Thank you. There's like just a ton of like, this doesn't fit exactly the breakaway civilization topic, but just as far as the crossover between magic and alien stuff, like Crowley was doing their workings, and he summoned an alien gray, basically. Like, so there's the whole summoning aspect. And then, like, as far as cattle mutilations, my favorite theory for that is that when we find cattle that are missing their tongue, their eyes, their sex organs, and that kind of stuff, that's spell stuff. You know, that's magic stuff. So what if all it is just the way to open these portals? Is it like there's a show on Netflix called The Order, where every time it's like a kind of like a Hogwarts type thing where they're training people how to do magic, and every time they do some kind of spell, they carry around these knives so they can cut their hands. It requires some kind of bloodletting in order for the spell to happen. So what if it requires some kind of bloodletting to open these portals? Like, what if their technology is so advanced where they just figured out a process where it's almost like casual, like the way we use fossil fuel, they use like cow blood fuel or some kind of occult ritual fuel where they just, here's the ritual, the door's open now we can travel just like it's the highway to them. You know, they could be so like, I don't know, it might not, they might not even see it as dark. They just see it as like, oh, this is just what we got to do. Like we eat animals and plants, they use this to travel, you know? So there's some kind of weird crossover. And then again, just that whole poltergeisty thing. What if like these ships, like if Knapp and Corbell and all these people think it's actually some kind of other advanced thing making these like physical craft, and it's not something even weirder than that. If it's some kind of type of craft that has these weird poltergeisty effects to it, then what are they into? What do they have? What type of technology is causing hitchhiker poltergeist effects? Like, I can't even wrap my head around that, honestly. You know, I know we're running out of time, but maybe that will jog you guys for the next hour or other callers and stuff.
Pretty wild. Great stuff. Great stuff as always, Derek. You were the best. Everybody, please follow Derek. Link in the description. He doesn't have any content yet, but inspire him because he's a brilliant dude and he needs to. Thanks, the Night Stalker. I appreciate it, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, you guys. Great show.
Thanks a lot, man. All right, so we got a couple calls on deck here that we're going to go to in the third hour. So please be patient with us, guys, as we wind it down and get off the radio here. So final thought tonight, Ash. Let's do that real fast. Try and make it about 30 seconds, and then we'll tell everybody about your channel, and let's wrap this up.
Awesome. Real fast. So we talked about Alonzo going on this podcast. Highly recommend it. I mean, there's everything from remote viewing to Adam and Eve event to UFOs, aliens, and it's probably if you're into this stuff, it's probably the best thing to consume right now. So yeah, I'm Ash, Reptilian from Mars. Thanks for joining us. It was great having to be here. Great. I'm excited for the calls. Thank you guys for calling in. I appreciate you guys. And Mike used to stream to nobody when he first started, so I get to come in here, just run my mouth and interact with you guys. So I appreciate it. And yeah.
Cheat codes.
So, yeah.
Cheat codes in effect. Thanks for spending your time with us, Ash. We got one more hour coming up, so don't go anywhere. And yeah, we got the maybe juice. Maybe juice is definitely flowing. So all right. So as we wind this down, don't forget to give Ash the Reptilian from Mars a follow. Link in the descriptions, guys. Do the thing. Do the thumbs ups. All the stuff. Make sure that the folks that spend their time with us, all the folks, you guys know who they are. All the links are down below. Just go follow those people and watch the work that they're doing. Fantastic stuff. But let's do it. Let's get the hell out of here. So the deal is this, right? We go a couple hours on Fringe FM at 7 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Thursday. And what we're looking at right now is we're done. So the bad news is we're done. The good news is, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific on the Fringe again. And so if you're listening to us on Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. If you're listening to us on any other platform, including the podcast feed, stay tuned for Third Hour Troubled Minds. We're still taking phone calls. We got a couple folks. We got Jennifer and Mike on the lines, and we'll go to them as soon as possible. Thank you guys for being patient with us. And as we finish, you know the drill. If you like the show, spread the word. Do all the things, thumbs ups and social medias, and all the gizmos that make the gizmos go. And that's right. Don't forget this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. All right, this is usually where we take a 2-minute break, but we got some nice folks on the phone, so we're not going to make them wait. We're going to take these phone calls, and then after that, we will take our 2-minute break. So let's do it. Let's get right back to this. Ash, if you need a break, go right ahead. I got this. I'll hold it down until you get back. We got Jennifer.
I'm going to go pee-pee.
Okay, do the thing. Do the Mars thing, and we'll see you in just a sec. Don't get anything wet, pretty please. And let's go. We're going to keep on doing our thing, talking about, of course, the breakaway civilization. So let's not make our fine folks wait any longer. Let's go to Jennifer in Missouri. Thanks for being patient with us. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you tonight?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing very well, thank you. Go right ahead. I'm sure you have some ideas about breakaway civilizations.
I do, and I had a completely not different. I've thought of this a lot before too, but the more I was listening to all this and the calls and everything, it started making me kind of think. I don't know. I have a theory. Okay, so if you think about, with a breakaway civilization, you don't have to, but the idea is that they are very ancient, probably. They got a head start of some sort. And so this would be a type of, like, people that were very far back in time, and they had very advanced technologies. And what I thought of, which is it's following along the same kind of logic that Night Stalker was talking about, that Derek was talking about. If you think about the mythos, I don't know if you call it a mythos, that might be disrespectful, I don't know. But of the jinn, they are pre-people in Muslim religion. They were there before human beings were. And these were like a type of people. They eat, sleep, have sex, have children, have towns, and that's according to like a Muslim religion, its doctrine, which is really strange. So wait, and they also think that they are superior, at least a big band of them believe that they are superior to mankind. And, that's the story of Iblis, that they wouldn't bow. It's really unusual. They can traverse great distances at great speeds. So they're able to do that as well, be able to move from one location to another location, like almost instantaneously. And it's because their technology looks like technology to us, but to them, it's just their nature. It's actually the nature of their being to be that, because they are smokeless flame. And that is basically like electricity, plasma. And it's able to be in one location and then another almost instantaneous. It's just very fast. When it's not manifested, when they don't manifest themselves, which they can manifest themselves as people, animals, they are basically like in the world of the imagination is where they kind of exist, because they don't have a barrier of sort. So you may think they could affect a human's imagination. This is maybe why they think that they're superior, perhaps even. Like when they would affect, for example, they could affect not just your imagination, but the imagination of another person even, and make them believe that they are seeing what they are seeing, but it's actually being controlled like a trajectory because they're projecting themselves that way. Another thing is free energy. They are literally that. They are literally free, clean energy. Another thing, immortal, a sense of being immortal. If they even appeared as human form, they could appear to be immortal because they live for thousands of years. Another thing is at the stargates. They utilize stargates. They literally, that's constant in the mythos, and especially the mentions of the deserts and places far away and out of sight, technically hidden places. They have cities. And like I said, they have children, they eat, they sleep. They do all of those things just like mankind. And they're very similar to us, but they're different. And in the ways that they are different, we're special in some way, but to us, they would be able to trickle down this technology to us because it is just what they are. So things like quantum computing and things like electricity is just it's not their technology. It may be actually just what they are. And then the poltergeist activity, that's something that also is established within Muslim religion about the jinn, that they do that. They can move objects the same way that, because they are electrical beings and they can manifest and touch and interact. They even have been known to interbreed with some people, with humans. There were old stories about that because they are kind of like people, but they're not. They can take the form of people. And the other thing was, let me think. Oh, that's it. Basically, just by their very nature, that is what they are. And so if they have a breakaway civilization that appears to be incredibly advanced, they do. Are they bringing people into that fold? And are they trickling technology to us on a friendly basis? Because you could have a friendly basis, because you also have friendly jinn, people, beings, not people, but jinn, genie. But you have bad ones as well. And the idea of the bad ones is the same old, that's what the mythos, not the mythos, but the religious doctrine is that they think that they should have dominion over the earth, but they can't for some reason because of us. And that's what I was kind of thinking about. Because, whatever it was, that's what I was kind of thinking, maybe.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily even like a physical technology. That all of this could be, mindcraft, mind work, things like this, like being able to tap into that. And we've talked about this a lot on this show about being able to alter the reality of somebody through their brain, through their consciousness. And so maybe that breakaway civilization is that. Yeah, you're right. Maybe you're spot on here. But again, right, there's not just the jinn. I like the jinn angle for sure. But I mean, like I keep joking about this because I think it's not only is it humorous, but it seems to be a thing that every time you get somebody take DMT, they come back and talk about the machine elves, right? That are there waiting for them, watching, communicating, right? And there's something happening in the next realm over, very close. And we talked about this last night even, is that I think it was Angela that called in and said that maybe the realms are so close, maybe that's all this ghost phenomena. Maybe this is all, it's all overlap from exactly that. It could be, just like you said, maybe the jinn, maybe the archons, maybe the machine elves. How do you quantify it? But holy smokes, I like it in the sense that it's not technology necessarily. It may be, but it's also maybe technology of the mind. I love it. Great stuff as always, Jen. What else you got?
Okay. Oh, just that we look at it and think that it is technology, like electricity that was a technological advancement. But they are literally supposed to be that, I guess. And like the stuff with the AI and quantum computers and everything, that could be literally them. Not that we're imagining it. I mean, that we are manifesting it in our world for our use, but they are the kind of the catalyst behind, maybe they are a catalyst behind the advances in technology, because their technology is, when we look at the way that they interact with the environment, it appears to be incredibly impossible technology. But that actually is just like the way that they, like, if they are just electricity or plasma, basically. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that's the only thought I had on it. But who knows what it is, But they could also be, it could be a literal civilization that people are a part of, that humans are a part of. And like I said, with these things, with these beings, they are like people. Like, these aren't like they just have the ability to, they can transform themselves into other things. And that's one of their powers. But they are kind of like us. They're very similar to us. And they can even be exactly like us. Like, if I were talking to one right now, I would not know. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's really strange about it, too. And then that they have been, if they were ruling over the earth before humanity advanced to a position where they were, if we were just, I don't know, because I was just thinking about it. But what if they are responsible for many of the great advances of the great structures? Because if they have the power to just move things that way, it's just it's unbelievably strange. We are living in a strange world, and then when you think about these different religions too, and these stories, it's just it's wild. But when you apply it to these topics, it's almost like they knew something. It's like, I don't know. But have a great night, Mike.
I appreciate it.
It was good to have Ash on listening to him.
Yeah. We'll get
Have a
back to
great
action in
night.
just a sec. Thank you for the call, Jennifer. As always, amazing stuff. Please follow Jennifer's channel, guys. Link in the description. Brilliant individual. Brilliant stuff as always. Thanks for the call. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night, okay? Thanks a lot. There you go. You guys want to be part of the show? Still taking your phone calls as we talk about the breakaway secret societies, all this stuff, right? What's going on? What's really happening with this, I think, is the question, and that's why we're discussing this. How deep does the rabbit hole go? Ash, welcome back. You got a take on that? So Jen was saying that there's like a sort of entity, whether it's, she said jinn, possibly the smokeless fire, the plasma sort of situation. I added machine elves or maybe archons, and maybe she's describing them as being more like us than we think. There's good ones and there's bad ones, and sort of making deals for technology, but possibly the technology isn't about like mechanical things. It's about technology of the mind. It's about this altering of consciousness and other things. And I kicked that into her idea to kind of just add on to standing on the shoulders of giants type stuff. But what do you think about that? And then we'll go to Algo on the phone right after you. What's up, brother? Welcome back.
Yeah. So I have all these notes. Real quick before that, Night Stalker mentioned blood technology. I know it was like 15 minutes ago, but I have these notes. I just want to quickly go through. So blood technology, and this is kind of actually all related. Blood technology, consciousness, it's all kind of related to, for whatever reason, the universe is behaving in a weird way, right? We're not exactly sure what the heck is going on, and we're trying to make sense of it. So, for instance, remote viewing, right? What is that ability derived from? Is that from your genetics? Is there technology in the blood? That's kind of what Night Stalker was. It might be a solution to that, where the technology, we've inherited it from freaking Atlantis, aliens, who knows, right? Just over time, and that the technology is within the genetics, and that we're accessing it, and maybe these aliens, these other entities, or this secret advanced civilization is utilizing in that way. Or maybe we're all souls, and that's the remote viewing thing, where we're all players. Whether they're aliens, dogs, whatever, we're all kind of accessing this consciousness fabric, right, of reality. And that is what, that's kind of like what propagates everything. And we don't really quite understand it, but we all have access to it. And that's kind of like that common medium. So it's really interesting. It's like, we kind of think we have it one way, and then you get a little piece of data, and it just blows the whole thing up. And now you got to take that into consideration. And I could hear the frustration in Jen's voice as like we all do. We do these circles where we're like, well, what is it? And then she mentioned basically that maybe there is a third party influencing humanity, right? Basically, right? That's like the highest level version of what she was talking about, where something's kind of like jerking us in certain directions. You watch these Black Mirror episodes and you're like, And then I think Mark Zuckerberg literally reenacted a Black Mirror episode, unironically, with a big old stupid smile on his face. And it's like, where did these ideas come from? Like, are they really our ideas? Alex Jones. Okay, I'm going to go off on left field real quick, and then I'd like to get to the caller. But I want to mention this because it is important. Alex Jones says that his dad was like basically an insider, right? Probably part of this breakaway civilization. And that this is Alex Jones. Again, you should go look it up and for yourself and whether or not you believe this or his story, that his dad would talk about around the dinner table with the mom about them contacting the elves, that they would take a shit ton of, I get to curse, a fuck ton of DMT, jack it in their body, fucking get all super high as fuck, just fucking blasted.
Settle down.
So I was pent up, man. I was pent up. I gotta get it out. I'm good now. I'm good, man. I'm good.
All right.
So but jack so much of it into themselves that they were pretty much like dead, and then they would have these meetings with these entities on the other side, and you guys were talking about that as well, and that from those meetings they've gotten technology, policy, and advice, and that they were using whatever the heck consciousness is, souls, however that works, I have no idea. And using that to communicate with these entities, and then those entities were influencing humanity. So that one story, Jen, I hope you heard that, is like, man, that's really, I think that would be really interesting to you. So just check that out. I think it was Alex Jones and Joe Rogan, and there's some really awesome memes and clips of that stuff.
It never
great
gets
stuff.
Like Alex Jones waving his arms and going, "Oh, rah, rah, rah." Just got one of those rants. It's so funny. All right. So let's go to thanks for being patient with us, my friend. This is Mike in Colorado. Man. You're good, Mike in Colorado. Welcome to the show. Algorithm, what's happening, my brother? How are you tonight?
Hey, Michael Strange. I'm doing really well. How are you?
Doing well myself. Just living the dream, talking about crazy stuff. What are your thoughts, my man, on the breakaway civilization?
So, well, I got to tell you, when you played that clip of the gray-haired guy who was talking about the breakaway civilization, where governments are not governments and they're actually corporations.
Yes.
That clip you played a little bit ago?
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, so America has not been America since 1946. And there was a congressional bill called the Administrative Procedures Act of 1946, which abdicated the responsibility of Congress and made way for the DEA, the FDA, all the government agencies, all the bureaucrats that we currently experience. That was the final nail in the coffin of the Republic. The first nail was the Emancipation Proclamation, not really, but the Reconstruction Act from Lincoln. That was the very first nail in the coffin of the Republic. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 took away Congress' ability to coin money and regulate the value thereof and gave it away to private bankers. And then the final nail in the coffin of the United States of America as a republic, as people think it is, was the Administrative Procedures Act. So my point is that the breakaway civilization in a political realm has been that they stole the nation from the people in 1946, way before anybody who's listening or who is here was born. And we haven't been what we were taught we were supposed to be for what is that, like 85 years almost?
Yeah, and notably too. So I want to add one more. Is that you forgot, and I hate to add it because you're so thorough here. You just taught me a bunch of stuff. So you said 1946. Interestingly, in September of 1947 is the National Security Act, when the CIA came about, and they put a veil of secrecy over all of that crap you just said. So, of course, not only are they doing, maybe the breakaway civilization is exactly that. And so at some point they're like, okay, we're doing these dirty shenanigans, and we're literally just upending the republic as we know it. I mean, we know this with the oligarchs and the tax breaks and all the people that are basically running the joint that are not elected officials, the technocrats, all that, right? We know it. But in 1947, notably, again, back to this show, 1947 in July was the Roswell crash. 1947 September was the National Security Act, was that veil of secrecy, the CIA. And literally, just like you said, we live in a world, we have no idea what the world was like before that 1947 and all of those things you described because, well, we're not old enough. We were born into this, and I think that's part of the strategy. I think you were spot on with so much of this. And the strategy is to legislate in the dark, and even like you said, the Emancipation Proclamation, it's a good example of how you can put out a bunch of bills, right? Like in politics, and be able to lead with something good, but then also pack in a bunch of BS at the back end of the bill that's just literally stealing generations of wealth. Right? It's crazy. And this is the world we live in. And we're born into it, and we just come to expect it. But let me tell you something, and I know you agree with me, we don't have to take it. This is bullshit, and this is where we cue that song from, what's his name? We're Not Gonna Take It, right? There you go. It's D. Snyder. But yeah, sorry, go right ahead. You're on a roll. I interrupted you. Go right ahead, sir.
No, you're exactly right. And that act in 1947 did seal the lid on the possibility of born into the
No, the call cut off.
Dang.
The call cut off.
He was about to reclaim the republic. He was about to save us all.
Exactly.
No, they cut him.
Mike, call back. The call dropped. Love to have you back. You just dial. We'll put you right on without delay. He waited 30 minutes for that call too. Sorry about that, bro. Call back. We'll put you back on the show.
We should have fucking waited 30 minutes for his call. Dang, that was great.
Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff.
Exactly. So there you go. So give us a call back. That was unfortunate timing. But yeah, so when he calls back, we'll get right back to that 1947 National Security Act that did put a lid on all those things. Right. And so clearly now, I've been saying this for a long time, right? It's one thing to claim secrecy in the name of national security, but when literally every damn thing is national security, well, there's nothing transparent anymore. And as always, back to the very first damn episode of this show, years ago now, 3.5+ years ago, we were talking about government transparency then. That's what this is all about. And unfortunately, well, we just can't have it, can we? Some things we just can't have. All right, so he's calling back. We're going to go right back to him here. So let's do it. Thanks for calling back, Mike. Yeah, he's good. So by the way, this is Mike in Colorado. He's got a channel. His name on YouTube is Algorithm. Scroll down on YouTube. You can find his link down below as Friends of Troubled Minds. Give this man a follow. As you can tell, he's brilliant. And this is the thing, right? We get together and we attract all kinds of brilliant people. And like I said, the embarrassment of riches is ours. And of course, that's you. You guys are our secret weapon, and we're going to keep on talking about this. There we go.
Is a lot of this information, is this from a Behold a Pale Horse? Is a lot of that in there?
I'm not sure. Let's ask him. Mike, welcome back. You're on with Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. Sorry about that unfortunate disconnect. So you were on about the National Security Act of 1947, and then we got a question for you about Behold the Pale Horse. Go right ahead, sir. Sorry about that.
Yeah, for sure. So, no, it's good. I think it was probably my phone, but the point with the National Security Act, it put a lid on truth. It put a lid on what a man or a woman born into the place we call the United States of America could understand and could actually investigate. So we were taught that we are the land of the free and the home of the brave, and at one point it may have been that, even if the founders were Masons or not. But when we're here now, and if we're not honest about us being serfs on the land and funding all the machinations and all the nonsense that people do, the government does in our name. 1.3 million Iraqis killed from 2003 till now. If we're not honest about it, and we can't look ourselves in the mirror and say, well, wait a minute, I'm not really an American. I'm a man or a woman born into a place called America, and they're doing this stuff in my name. They took a breakaway. They broke away from a republic as a society and turned it into just an evil freaking nightmare cesspool, from my opinion.
You're allowed to have your opinion, my good friend. Yes, sir. which is perfectly fine. And so it's a lot there that you're said, and I kind of have to agree. Like I said, I'm not going to go fact check you at this point because you did teach me a lot of things I didn't know. But we'll revisit this. So I'm going to be on Mike's channel either this weekend or next weekend. We haven't ironed it out, but we're still working on some dates. But I'm going to be on the channel here with this is Mike in Colorado, Algorithm. Again, scroll down, give this man a follow. So the question from Ash was, you want to ask it, Ash, regarding the stuff he's talking about?
Yeah. I think it was Bill Cooper. I think he was doing a conference with Phil Snyder, and I watched this whole long set, about how the extraterrestrial influence basically was the catalyst for basically breaking off and creating this secret government and corralling the public right away from anything of actual importance and slowly stripping their freedoms away. And Mike, you mentioned spawning these intelligence agencies and all this kind of stuff. Is a lot of this in that book, Behold a Pale Horse? I have never actually read it.
You know, I no, it is. And Bill Cooper with Behold a Pale Horse lays out the enslavement of the American people in a way that a lot of people can understand. And the saddest thing is once Bill actually got to an actionable case in the court system, he happened to leave this realm at an early place on the hands of the FBI. So yeah, you're exactly right, Ash. It literally could be an alien intelligence. It could be the Archons. It could be a dark force. Carlos Castaneda did an amazing series of books with the character named Don Juan Matisse, who may or may not have been a shaman. And from the warrior shaman perspective, it's a dark force in the universe. From an actual tangible perspective, it could be aliens. It could be grays. It could be a lot of stuff that I can't either prove or quantify. But nonetheless, what I see at the end of the day is that humans are born into bondage, and I think that's why that movie The Matrix was so resonant for so many people. When Morpheus said you were born into bondage, you were born into a slave system. Well, if people are honest about it and they look around, it's very clear that we were. And what we do about it, I think, is the important part.
Exactly right. And can we fix it? Like I said this last night, we had a brand new caller, and we were talking a little bit about this, and he got a little bit down at the end of the call, and I was like, look, no, that's not what this is about, right? This is about us getting together and sharing knowledge so we can do something about it, right? Just because we've been manipulated into something we don't believe in doesn't mean we can't get our way out of that. And that's what this is about. That's what this whole conversation is, and that's why we get together and do this. So brilliant stuff, my man. Thank you so much. What else you got? What else you have for us regarding breakaway civilizations?
The only thing that the other thing that I have is that we are the breakaway civilization. And when we can find land and we can find infrastructure, we can take the ideas and the conversations that we're all having and we can implement them into daily life. Every time you put a thumbs up on Troubled Minds, or you share it, or you click a video, or you resonate, you express an opinion against the current system, you're part of that breakaway civilization. If we can get enough momentum, if we could find some land that we could actually get, which is the hard part, we could be that breakaway civilization that allows the children that are behind us to live as free, feral human beings. And I hope for the day, I fight for the day, I try for the day. Part of the reason I even call in or do broadcasts is because we have the potential to do it, and it's inside each one of us. And if we work hard enough and we're enduring long enough, and we have the energy that Michael Strange has, because he's probably the most energetic radio host I've ever listened to. If we have that energy and we can fight and continue to do that, someday we can get there.
Amen. Amen. It's about keeping your chin up, taking your licks, but also not giving up. 100%. Thank you for the kind words. Same goes to you. Brilliant stuff. I check your channel out from time to time, and you're doing God's work over there, in my opinion, as well. So we will nail down a time. I will be on Algo's channel here. I did link his YouTube channel both on Rockfin and in the chat. Please give Algo a follow, guys. If you haven't heard of him at this point, do. You see what a smart guy he is. And he's talking about real freedom, right? Not this manufactured stuff where they tell us, oh, by the way, the government says you're free. Well, okay. We have a lot to say about that, don't we? We have a lot to say about
and anytime anything meaningful, if you ever notice, if there's ever a trend of meaningfulness, it gets quelled very quickly by some sort of racial, have you noticed this? The media will, pits us all against each other. Not just by race, by class, by anything they can, right? There's
Yep.
I noticed it because I try to stay out of it. And so the more you stay out of it, the more you can just see it. And you're like, what the hell? And you can kind of see them do it. It's really gross. They try to make everything.
That's probably the best part about being an alien. Right? That's probably the best part of being an alien is when you're an alien, you can sit back and you can look at us and you can say, damn, those hairless apes are not really doing very good. Hey, thanks for taking my call, Michael. Ash, good to talk to you.
Nice
Take care,
meeting you, man.
You're the best, brother. You're the best, brother. Mike in Colorado, Algorithm. Follow him. Links in the chat there. Also scroll. You don't have to scroll all the way down because you're in the chat. But if you miss it and you catch this on an archive, scroll all the way down. He's on the bottom, linked as Friends of Troubled Minds. You can't miss it. I will be on his show coming up in the next week or two. We'll figure out the time and we'll announce it to you guys. But yeah, brilliant, right? Like this is the whole point, right? Getting together with people and sharing these ideas and not buying the crap they tell us. Once again, right? Now, what did Noam Chomsky say? It's like, basically, look, we can argue vigorously within a particular realm, what they tell us, right? With particular boundaries. Right. Like, we're allowed to argue within that realm, but they set the boundaries. And I say, we're not going to take it. Absolutely not. The bullshit politics they try and stuff down our throats is not acceptable because that is not reality. So, again, I'm sorry if you're still locked into the political world of left, right, and all the rest of that crap. I'm sorry. But my opinion is it's trash. All of it's trash, and all of those people are being manipulated as well. There's a few ringleaders, as always, and what they're trying to do is basically it's like the fast road to hell or the slow road to hell. There's your choice, right?
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do, right? Like there's got to be another option here. And so there you go. So
no, I mean, okay. So there's actually a fact. They did a study. There's almost no correlation between what you vote for and what's actually passed by law. They they did a data scientific evaluation and they found that. So when you're participating in lefty righty, you're not really doing anything. Like you are not doing, you may be fighting over culture, I guess, but you're not actually doing anything. So, when they pass these bills, like the infrastructure bill and all these bills, I mean, they're just fucking spending money like crazy, inflation and stuff, and they're all signing it. Right, they're all signing it, and if you look, if you go, you see crypto's going through the roof. This woman was I forget who it was. And she's been spot on. We are building you, me, us, the viewers. We are building our prison. They can't build our prison for us. We have to build it. They just corral us. So we're investing in crypto. Look, crypto is decentralized and cool, but it can be completely tracked, right? So crypto is cool until it ain't. Just like the internet. Remember the internet? The internet was like free. We could talk about anything, right?
When the internet was cool,
right? The internet was like, oh yeah, fucking stick it to the man. The internet, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You don't think of the internet like that anymore, right? It's not like that anymore.
No,
and that's what happens.
Another cog in the surveillance state, pretty much.
So anyway, yeah,
great shit. All right, so we got Kelly here. Speaking of old friends that have been contributing to the show for a very long time. What's up, Kelly? Kelly in Colorado. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you tonight?
What's up?
What's going on there, fellas?
Just chilling, man. Doing our thing, talking about wacky shit like we do. What's on your mind tonight, my man?
Oh, man, great stuff from everybody, different civilization, breakaways, different thoughts and theories. I love it tonight. It's pretty great shit, man.
Right on. Thank you. And
awesome.
I'm sure you got some good stuff for us as well. Go right ahead.
Well, with me, I'm going to take it to the breakaway space civilization because the reason why I go with that one is because I like that one is because of the whole space when we were heading to space and to the moon, right? We all know that it was all the whole von Braun thing, with his rockets. But when
Project Paperclip, right? Holdover. Right?
Yeah,
From Germany. Yep.
Yeah. So when when after all that happened, right? Him and I don't know if people know the story between that with him and NASA, right? They had a conflict, different opinions of what they wanted to do in space. Well, von Braun, all around that time, with even with Mike was saying, with the with all the whole money situation, when the country being nailed to our coffin, right? Well, around that, all those people that were doing that and was making billions, it was all families. So for me, all this going on, it's just like every other country, man. It's all these families are just running the shit. It's like one big mafia. So if you have all these billionaires and trillionaires, right? Where were they hanging out at? Bohemian Grove. That's where he went. That's where von Braun went to get, because he knew that NASA wasn't going to do it, right? He wasn't never going to do the funding, the type of stuff they wanted to go in different directions. Now with Braun, he met, and how he met with all these people is that he got with Disney. Disney was one of the most, he's got the most money there was. Well, he started, and he had Play too, so he could, they had the Disney Channel, and he would have designs of like spacecraft, right? Ones that had, could make anti-gravity, by turning so many, revolutions per minute, or even different rocketry. He had all kinds of different ideas, deep space, vehicles. But the thing about it is that, he didn't have the funding. So that's where I think that's where that's from. So now, like we were talking about, I don't know, a few shows back, quite a while, but it was about the man that his video shit, he's videotaped. He knows where these areas are at. Some of them are like, one of them, he says, in the Orion's belt, but they look like stars. They follow the pattern of all the rest of the stars that cross the night sky. But those things are, they're huge ships when he, zooms in on them. I'll have to repost them again, but I'm pretty sure a lot of some people already, video, or has viewed those videos, but. Yeah, so if you have all that money, right, and you have all that, with that technology, because that's all it is going to be all this funding, right? And you're not as
he's spending off the aliens now.
Exactly.
Get him.
Get away. Just real quick, just to keep your thought there, Kelly. Real quick, Night Stalker says, go on the Disney Plus app and look at their movies. It's literally all aliens, space, and magic. Go ahead. To go on your Disney stuff.
Yeah, so like, if these people that already had, that's had, and then, they have, they found this technology, this government or this corporation, like, it's the truth. We're a corporation. They even call it the Corporation of the United States as well when they represent themselves, on this board. There's tons of videos of this shit, but anyway, my point is that for me, that's what the way I look at it is all these rocket launches. I've always posted that in Discord and stuff like that. I always talk about it because look how many times from the first time when rockets went up and how many's been up in space. People, they always keep saying it's satellites. There ain't that many goddamn satellites. And the reason why I have speculation for that is because people say they see, they'll be stargazing at night, at a dark spot, and they'll say, oh, look, there's a satellite. Why do people think they're looking at satellites is my question. And the reason for that is because if it's just that one satellite, we're supposed to be surrounded by satellites. You see the whole thing of Earth, and then they're seeing all the space junk. If that's the case, then why are you just only seeing one? Why not you seeing the hundreds of thousands or even hundreds, I should say, or even up to close to thousands now that they have up there?
Yeah, that's a good point. And so not only that, by the way, Kelly here's an amateur astronomer. And so he spends time on the telescope and things like this. So he's not just saying like walking out and like looking up at the moon and saying, where's all the space junk? He spends some time with a telescope trying to find things and zoom in and some things like this. So he's not just saying that as like, well, how come you don't see the space junk? Well, how come if you have a telescope and supposedly all the space junk is supposed to be reflecting light from the sun, how come you don't see it at all, even with the telescope? That's a fantastic point, man. I don't know the answers to this stuff, but they're fantastic questions.
Yeah, so, some of them are supposedly stationary, right? And some of them that they can move around. But for me, that's the questions I ask. So for me, if that's the case, maybe we're only seeing maybe the onesie, twosie satellites. Maybe that's it. And the rest of the shit, for me, I believe it's refueling these deep space crap that they have already. That's what I believe. And the reason for that is because I know I've been in the Navy, right? And you have places like Diego Garcia, which is these little islands out in the middle of the Pacific where there's nothing around. But yet, there's military bases. We have some stuff that's out there that, most people don't even realize. And you get, when we try to get orders out there, you're out there for, 6 months, 9 months at a time. You're, or a couple years that you're on your station out there. But who knows, man? Some of these people that they could build this shit anywhere and be launching this shit all the time. We don't even know it.
Right. That's a good point, Kelly. It's like you're hypothetically, you're talking about, let's say it's like you're a Google employee, right? You don't know everything that goes on at Google, but you know a lot of what goes down at Google, and it's possible, right? And what's there. And it's all but confirmed for you, right? So you're in the military. You see these things. You can put 2 and 2 together, and I think that's important. Like people acknowledge that when you're talking about this stuff. That to some degree you're an expert on this because you do know. Like I don't know shit about that. I don't know what's going on about bases and all that kind of stuff. I've seen some of your pictures of destroyers, and it's really cool, man. So yeah, it's interesting. If, like we said, it's like, it was back in the 50s and the 60s, we supposedly mastered anti-gravity technology. And so it's been like a long time, 67 years. Like, what kind of wild shit are we doing? And you're trying to tell me, we're still doing rocket stuff, what even is that? Right. And so, what is this space program? What are they doing? And what kind of wild shit's going on up there? That one Israeli space officer said we had a base on Mars and we work with aliens. And he was tired of hiding it. And he was an insider for years. So yeah, definitely good stuff, man. Good stuff. Love it.
Sure. 100%. We got Kelly, we got Rohan on deck. So like I said, you always know you're welcome to stay till the end. You got time or you tell me?
No, man, I would just want to throw a couple things in there, too, as well. So, yeah, just people need to, for me, that's what I believe. We're all these rockets we're doing, man, is all replenishment shit. And real quick, too, with the whole rocket thing, too, yeah. The reason why I always used to say, too, man, I was like, what the fuck are we still doing rockets with? Still using rockets, right? Because,
yeah.
You got an Elon Musk coming in, and he's in less than 10 years, man, he showed these guys know how to even play with rockets, right? Launch them up, burning them up, wasting tax dollars. He brought his shit back down and reusing the mother things, you know what I mean? I don't want to. Yeah, they were, he's reusing the shit. He's made in that short of time, he's made NASA look like clowns. So what have we been really doing? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
yeah. And you see the NASA videos where they're you can clearly see they have cords. They're faking fucking videos. They are faking videos. I've seen enough of it. I've seen 20 minutes straight of them fucking up and faking videos. Why are they doing that? It's because it's bullshit. They're doing other stuff. It's smoke and mirrors, right? Wasn't it NASA's to deceive is the word or something? I don't know. But yeah, good point. Sorry I interrupted you.
You're good, Kelly.
Oh no, man. That was it. I just wanted to and just let people know that if you think that we can only launch rockets somewhere, now China is actually right now building a platform kind of like what Elon Musk is, but they want to launch rockets from it instead of just landing them on there. So yeah, man, you don't need a big landmass to do all that shit. If the China's wants to do a platform, just think what we've been doing. But yeah, that civilization's out there, and the whole Space Force thing is just an added top to it. They just need more bodies now.
More bodies and more money. Always more money.
All right, fellas, you guys have a good night.
You're the best, Kelly. Appreciate the call. Thank you very much, my man. All right. Let's go. Let's go to Rohan, the mighty Rohan, the famous Liam Martin. Welcome to the show. What's up, brother? You're on with Mike and Ash. How are you?
What's up, brother? How you doing, Mike? How you doing, Ash?
What's up? Hello.
Hey, okay. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead. I'm sure you have some ideas on a breakaway civilization.
Oh, I got a couple of points. People just saying stuff. I love it, man. It keeps happening, doesn't it, Mike? People keep calling in and saying fun, cool things. It gets your cogs going, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like I said, it's an embarrassment of riches, all these amazing people that just, you think you got it all right. You're like, okay, I got all the angles covered tonight. Like, nobody's going to tell me anything I haven't heard. And then everybody tells me something I haven't heard. It's amazing.
That's right. You feel like a jewel thief, don't you? And you've found Aladdin's cave and you're like, oh, bring back the 90s. Why haven't I got massive jeans with huge pockets and legs,
Exactly right.
Okay, so there were some good points then, so let's just jump in there then. So I liked that Jennifer's call. She made some cracking points there. I thought I'll just reiterate those. So she makes the point she made this statement. She said she's talking about, it's the nature to be like that. It's not perhaps like it's not necessarily a technological kind of thing, just like that. And I thought that that particular statement harks back to the Gnostics, whom the ancient Greeks used to look up to as being wise, and the fallen angels kind of stuff, because that goes back to the Archon business. Do you know what I'm saying? And those people were linked in with the mystery schools of Egypt. Do you know what I'm saying? And this all reminds me of that previous Troubled Minds episode. I think it was about the Harvest Moon mission. And then we got talking about the ritualistic aspects of all of this, and how the space stuff seems to tie in with that, and then we're getting this ritual stuff and the magic. And I think that this has come up today, that sort of sums it up, because I think all these things sort of cross over. And if you cast your mind back through history and look at how many things have come from alchemy, how many sciences have come from alchemy, so many things. And alchemy is, of course, coming from Kemet, which is ancient Egypt, Africa, which is supposed to be the cradle. So it looks as if, to me at least, it looks as if magical practices and psyche type practices are intrinsic with all this stuff. The nuts and bolts stuff is almost like a way that we bridge it into this world in a physical way that we know about. Does that make sense?
I think so. Ash, you got that? Copy that?
Yeah, that's that holographic world where the physical reality is a projection of the true reality or the true dimension, which is ethereal or fucking, I don't know, some wild stuff we don't understand, right? And that, I bring up remote viewing because I guess you guys like that stuff. So, but if the remote viewing, again, if that stuff is true, then what the hell is that? Is that does that mean we have a soul? And if we have a soul, that means that the remote viewing guys believe souls are eternal and immortal and indestructible. So that means that the soul doesn't have entropy. It doesn't follow the rules of our system, but it engages with this system, this dimension, this plane. So other entities, through technology, through will, through their technology, right? They could have their own technology set, integrate with us and communicate with us. And yeah, we are just manifestations of that. There's The Secret, which was like, Oprah was famous for making it famous, where you can manifest reality in this world and sort of in this dimension. And a lot of our elites were communicating about that, about the time that they would have known about it from a breakaway civilization, correct? So I think you're right on the money, and it's brought up a few times that there's something about consciousness, right? That is involved with this. There's something, and that maybe this breakaway civilization is sort of privy to that we were not.
I think it's the world's biggest secret. I think that's why you get terms like woo-woo, and why we had this idea of, conspiracy theorist, which I think was an alphabet agency come up with that. I think that's because they've figured out that at some point, right, I'm saying this, it all runs on consciousness, okay, and nuts and bolts technology, then it turns out has its limitations, because if you want to step it up from there, then you've got to use the nature stuff, the stuff that you got to work with nature, because a lot of the physical nuts and bolts stuff that we use is kind of working against nature. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
See where I'm going? So, so if it's all conscious, that's the thing. And I think that's why we get pushed away from this stuff. Like I say, it's like the world's biggest sort of secret. While in the meantime, I say this all the time, in the meantime, they tell us it's rubbish, then turn around and use it. Or like Alex Jones, I've quoted him that same sort of conversation. It sounds like where he says that he's claiming to be privy to information, but it totally tracks that. They'll be used. Places like CERN will be using this nuts and bolts stuff. They'll be using the psych stuff because it's by necessity. They'll be using psychedelics, medically induced near-death experiences, meditation, all this stuff that they tell us not to. And why? Because it's a technology. It's the best technology. It's high physics technology. And we're just kind of rediscovering it. And I've just done a show on about Adam's calendar in South Africa, and we're looking at ancient mining. Really, really, really old. There's weird stuff there. There's cymatic patterns in hundreds of thousands of stone circles. Do you know what I'm saying? They're all laid out in time, all completely unique. It's like, there's people been using been doing this stuff using frequencies, using sound. It just. But at the same time, as much as it's fun to speculate on all these mysteries and try and get to the bottom of this really exciting sort of fun stuff, Malgo makes a great point, the pragmatic down-to-earth point stuff, because at the same time while this is going on, our rights are being taken away, and they're always under threat. You have to constantly hanging on to them. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's almost like we're becoming almost by necessity again a kind of grassroots breakaway civilization, and almost like Taiwan, where we're trying to hold on to the original Chinese way, while something else is trying to, do you know what I mean, sort of grow. And right. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not stuff, and also as well as. If half of this stuff that we think is correct is, then we can't afford to be left behind. Like people go on about crypto, you can't afford to be left behind. You can't afford to be left behind with this kind of stuff, can you? Because if before you know, we're fighting the psychic cyber tin soldiers that can teleport. Do you know what I mean? So you'll have no chance.
Well, so there's a theory, and it's basically it propagates from a bunch of different circles and sources, that humanity is coming to this critical point. They say that this is the fourth turning. There's like cycles where there's like the first, the second, the third turning. It's basically like shit's bad, then you make it good, and then shit's bad makes people stronger. Stronger people solve the problems, create a good society. Good society makes people weak. Weak society makes shittiness, makes problems, boom. And then it's like a cycle, right? And we're sort of in this important phase. Richard Dolan actually talks about this too. And the theory is that these influences, whether they're extraterrestrial entities or whatever they are know that we're in a critical time period, and they're trying to jerk us in one direction or another, right? And that you that's kind of like, could be what you're feeling, where you're feeling like, where we have our kind of natural culture, which was, like Native Americans, for example, perfect example is where they live with the land. They're more, I think the word is homogenous with the land. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're kind of like one with the being, with nature, with the land. They coexist with it. And then that these technological entities or whatever are trying to kind of influence us to go down a more Black Mirror sort of dystopian sort of path, and that we kind of have to make our choice. Maybe it's not as cut and dry and as simple as that, right? It's a pretty simplistic view of it, but at the end of the day, it comes down to kind of like a spirituality, like how mature our maturity level, our spirituality level needs to keep pace with the technological level, or we fucking kill ourselves every way from Sunday. Whether it's like
that's the main bit, I think.
Right.
That's the crux of it. I think you've hit it the nail on the head there, Ash.
And it's like, how the fuck do we do that? But I also want VR, and like robot chicks.
Regarding VR, Night Stalker had an amazing comment here. Let me read this. He said, Derek in Massachusetts says, Night Stalker, what if there's a breakaway astral civilization, an astralgarchy, if you will?
Oh shit!
Well, I was just gonna say,
shit! We just turned the boat over right at the end.
I thought of that just the other day, but I managed to turn it back because then I remembered Al Bielek saying he went to the future at some point. There was nothing, and then I thought, no, maybe it was in VR and it was on standby. Yeah. So the world's not gone away. He just couldn't see because he didn't turn his goggles on.
Oh yeah, that's wild. Or like, yeah, dude, fuck, man. Or like, yeah, it's pretty. There's too much nuttiness in that. I can't even comment.
It got me the other day where someone on social media posted where either they remote viewed or some channelers had told them this nice future they're going to be in, this, that, and the other. And I was like, how do you know you haven't remote viewed the metaverse Zuckerberg future? And it's not nice at all. It just looks nice.
Yeah,
you can remote view photographs, can't you? That's why I bring it up.
Yeah, pretty well. Stuff. Go ahead.
I theorize that civilizations eventually turn inward. That they it's more efficient, right? Because then you could just there's actually an anime. I'm sorry, this is super nerdy. It's called Naruto.
Nerd.
And it's actually it was a more complex plot line. They think anime is for kids, but this is people die. It's pretty savage. But it's like 13-year-olds killing their whole families because they have to for the village and all this. It's like pretty brutal. But one of the villains have given up on the world. They think that the world was beyond salvation. So they want to entrap everyone into this like dream world, this utopian world where all your loved ones, all the pain, it's all gone. It's kind of catered to each specific person and then remain in that world. And I think the theory is like, you could perceive time faster, so you could like live hundreds of lifetimes within your lifetime or whatever. You can have any kind of reality you want. But the spiritual drawback of that is that, what's the meaning? If there is no fucking repercussions, if it's not real, then it loses its value, right? So yeah, really good stuff, everyone.
Yeah,
the tequila's kicking in. You guys are fucking hitting me from left and right. My brain's. You guys are scrambling my brain with too much craziness.
Too much maybe juice. Too much maybe juice, and I don't think it's possible to drink too much maybe juice. I think it's like DMT. it's all fine. It's totally all fine. What else you got?
It's all in the footwork, Ash. It's all in the footwork.
Exactly. What else you got, bro? You said you had some notes.
Oh yeah, when you earlier on when you did you made a little I don't know what do I call it, a little speech earlier. I went on a little dialogue. What's it called? A monologue. That's the word. Yeah, and it made me laugh. Made me laugh that day because it reminded me of that film Network. I hope you've seen it, where there's that scene where they get the whole nation to stick your head out of the window and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore."
Exactly. D. Snyder, Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it. No, we ain't going to take it. Yeah, and again, right? And, again, for the censors that are listening, for every algorithmic manipulation of the bullshit and the taking people out of context, I don't mean any of that, by the way, through violence. Go ahead and add that to your addendum, which you won't, you assholes. When the smear pieces come on me, they will come hard and heavy, and I will have refutations. I don't even know if that's a word, but I will have them. I will be able to refute all of it. So, in any case, what else you got? What else you got, brother? We got Jay on deck for the J-Tro. As you know, Rohan, you're welcome to stay till the end here, and what's up? What's up?
Yeah, just quick. Up? Yeah, they put this stuff in your face. They really do. I remember I remember it was in the papers, just not front page, where NASA said, "Oh yeah, 30-mile wide objects had entered the Saturn system," and then and it was there for a couple of months and then left.
Oh,
And
shit.
it's like, well, that's intelligent and controlled, isn't it? But you just don't, I remember when I didn't know about the Israeli officer saying I was sick of keeping the secret, but I remember Iran's blatantly saying a few years ago that they had UFOs, and there was that MT Kesh guy going around saying this is how they work. And I also remember, because I remember stuff, Fukushima. People freaking about that and the radiation levels and TAPCO and that. But I remember people reporting UFOs being in like green beam stand, and the Japanese government saying, "Oh yeah, they're ours. Don't worry about it. They're above the airport, but don't worry because they're our advanced aerial craft." So what's that? Anyway, I'll leave it there.
What is that?
Well, that's the trouble. It's like, what the fuck is real? What isn't? And that's kind of where they got us. That's where they've done a good job. It's hard to parse it. And to figure out what is real, and they've done a good job. You it. Taps a hat off to you fuckers. You guys have done a good job. At being assholes.
Shake the hand before I stab him. Yeah, just comedy. It's just comedy.
And that's
theoretically.
And no, in the astral world or in Minecraft stabbing. There's no real world stabbing going on here, by the way.
Yeah,
be careful, Rogan. What the fuck, man? Say in Minecraft.
Astral world.
Minecraft.
Get him.
Minecraft.
Whatever the fuck Minecraft is. All right, let's do it. What's up? Again, like I said, the beauty of this is, like I said, there's nobody that tells us when to start or when to stop. Well, Fringe tells us when to start, but nobody tells us when to stop. So if we got things to say, we got things to say, and it's okay. I'm not trying to literally barrel this down. Ash, you've been here for a long 3 hours. Anytime you can dip out. It's all good. Jay in New York. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. You're on with Ash, Rohan, and Michael Strange. What's up, my man?
Everybody's been absolutely crushing it today. You get the black goo, just a river of it flowing. It's awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One more hot fire take from Derek before you go. Make maybe juice, not war. So good.
That's a great way. That's an awesome disclaimer.
There you go. There you go.
That's an awesome disclaimer.
There you go.
So ahead. I'll say that now, just in case I say something bad later. Make maybe juice, not war. So
there you go.
Just in case. But I just, wow. I mean, one of the things that I think that's really awesome about what goes on and the way these conversations go is that we're giving each other knowledge and we're thinking and we're having interaction with each other and stuff like that. And I think that might be one of the ways that they try to hide it from us. You look at the Facebook and now the beginnings of the metaverse and stuff like that, and how it's, commercial. I just want to say about the commercials of it. It's really odd that like the class of people or age groups of people that they cater to in those commercials that people are like anticipating. It's like, oh my God, I hope Santa brings me a metaverse for Christmas. You see it when you go to the movies and on the Facebook and everything else. I worry about that. And then I look at the fact that we're really smart. You look at kids in school and stuff like that. Some kids don't do really well. Some kids do really well. And some things come, blah, blah, blah. But then they kind of get into this thing is like, look, here's the deal. Show up at 8 o'clock in the morning, stay until 3:30, do your thing. You get your good grade. You go on to college, get a job, pay your taxes, get healthcare insurance, and live amongst your thing. Just give us all your money so we can come up with all these plans for, at least we should know what the plan is. Okay, all those super rich people are getting off the planet because an asteroid's coming here in 2050. But is that where we are? I really don't think that we're in some kind of breakaway civilization where we're like in a computer program or something like that. I just think that would be too expensive. I think that, we're in our spot, our country or world or whatever, and there's just some other little game that's going on. They need all this money and us to be little worker bees and go around and do our dumb little jobs so they can have their plans. Do I need to say the thing again?
Which thing?
Maybe juice, not war.
No, that needs to be a T-shirt or a hat or something. That's too good. Too good to leave dangling out in the metaverse, if you know what I mean. But yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. Go ahead, sir. Continue. Please continue.
I'm really if it wasn't for things like this, we're people from all over the place. We're having the same kind of conversations and realizing that life is good. It really is. You know, it's what we make it. We have these conversations. We learn. We research to the bottom of the barrel and find out these things and spread that knowledge with each other. So we all have the opportunity to learn and stuff like that. I really think that there's a outside part that's trying to keep it from us. You know, get your little thing in the movies. You know, they were saying about Disney. That was Kelly, right?
Yep, sure was.
That you know, I watched those movies, the Atlantis movie, where they're all living underground with all these brilliant machines and stuff like that. It's a little teeny tiny kids cartoon. You know, it's more important about the little, you know, mythical creatures and stuff like that are running around trying to make friends and all that than it is about the real. The kids don't even get it. You know, Nibiru. Thanks, Ash, for teaching me how to say it. But that's in Scooby-Doo cartoons.
Yeah,
they talk about it. It's a great big huge thing. It's a 3-season series on about the coming of Nibiru.
Yeah,
the whole thing is. And you're like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. The thing is, though, it's like they talk about hiding things in plain sight, and I think the more you pay attention, the more you're like, wait. Is that a coincidence? You're like, wait.
Yeah, and then you listen to Troubled Minds, and you're like, whoa, holy shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, my God, my brain is like, something's coming out my ear. Oh, what's that black stuff? Ew. We get the Q-tip. You know, it really does. I mean, sometimes these shows make your brains use out your ears.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's our brains don't get enough exercise. I think that's for damn sure, and that's what this
mental yoga.
Yeah, mental yoga.
It's mental yoga.
Yes, sir. It's it is what it is, and that's why we do this. That's why. Oddly enough, right? That I'm not even that smart of a guy, but we're attracting immensely smart people. It's weird. I'm like, wow. Again, we new people show up. They're all smarter than me. And like I said, it's fine. It's not a contest. It's just like shit. Like this is amazing. Like I said, the embarrassment of riches is the community, and here we are. It's amazing stuff. Anybody else? Who else has got stuff for James? Or
I don't even. I'm so dumb. I don't even understand the embarrassment of community.
Riches.
Is riches.
The embarrassment of riches is the community.
See, that's how dumb I am. I don't even know. It sounds profound to me, you know, but I don't.
Google that shit. You'll be like, wow, that was hot. Okay.
That was hot.
That was hot. Oh, that was so hot. Oh, that was so hot. It's so hot.
Oh shit.
Now we did it. Now we took us there.
We're in the third hour for sure.
We're in the third hour. It's fine. All right.
It's turning into OnlyFans. Drop the link, Mike.
Actually, yeah. If you go to Troubled Fans.
Troubled Fans.
It's true.
OnlyFans.com/.
Don't say the real link, man.
No, I'm just kidding.
You don't get caught.
There's no OnlyFans. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Anybody have anything?
You got an OnlyFans, Mike?
DM me. I'll slip you the details. No, just kidding. Anybody have anything for Jay? Rohan.
Dude, that was the funniest shit.
I think Jay's had quite enough. We didn't even ask him.
Troubled Fans. See, we woke Kelly up. He's like, oh shit. Go ahead, Rohan. Sorry.
There's gonna be some weird ass content on that for sure. Troubled Fans.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll drop some reptilian nudes on there too. You know,
troubledfans.com.
That'll be the way to make the money.
Yeah. There you go. There's got to be some way.
That's how you really.
Got to be some way. Rohan, go ahead, brother. Stop laughing.
Yeah. Can you imagine? The third hour is weird enough. Can you fucking imagine? Yeah, and then make sure you subscribe to the OnlyFans where you can see Ash the Reptilian's tail.
Uncensored tail.
Jesus.
Go ahead, Rohan. If you stop choking.
He's a bad influence, he is. I remember that time when he took us to that strange page.
Yeah, right. Totally. Go ahead. You got anything for James?
No. That's good. That was cool. That's cool, man. No. I'm all right.
You're all right. You're okay. You're already Googling. You're like, wait. Let me see if this actually exists. All right. Ash, anything for Jay before we round this up?
Bro, my mind is, I'm shot and I've been drinking tequila, but it's good stuff, man. It's like always good stuff from you guys, and like Mike said, just I feel dumber by the second, by the call.
Exactly.
It's good though. It's good. It's good stuff.
It is good. Mental yoga, absolutely.
People are really interested in this topic, and they want to know, and people, they're. Let's say this. Their argument is that we can't handle it, right? Obviously, it's bullshit. Like, we're off in ethereal breakaway civilizations that are influencing humanity through tech. Like, we can fucking handle anything, right? We're off. We're figuring stuff out, and people are smart. And like Alonzo says, the quote, I think it's time to be a little bit more straightforward. And so I'm hopeful that we can get some answers, guys, and we'll, Mike and I guess we just our job is to take information and bring it in here and have a conversation. I think we did a good job tonight, and based on the really good conversations we've had, and I didn't even know there were so many ways you can kind of take this.
Well, welcome to my world. Every night,
conversation about
every night, it's turned on its head, man. We're attracting brilliant people, and that's there we go. Quick shout out to over on Rockfin, by the way, to Delusional over there. Sent us a nice $10 tip. Thank you so much for that. Says wonderful topics tonight. Thank you, and a nice little smiley face. Thank you for the monetary compliment. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for, most importantly, spending your time and your energy with us. That's what this is all about in the end, right? And it's about spending your time, spending your energy, that mental yoga, and learning together, and being able to, once again, right, be together and not hate each other if we agree or disagree. That's literally, it seems like a simple thing, but it's just not anymore, right? That's not what the media wants from us. And so we're this is the craziest part. We're rebelling by not hating each other. Can you believe that? It's wild. It's a wild notion, but it's completely true. But sorry, Ash, go ahead. Just want to call that out real quick for the nice donation over there. Thank you very much.
Oh, shit. I don't know. Was I saying something?
You were, but okay. Let's get the hell out of here. Jay, I'm sure you got an outro for us, don't you? Let's get the outro. Let's GTFO. By the way, before we do the outro, real quick, so usually we hang out a little bit afterwards. The after party, it's called. If you haven't joined the Discord, you're missing out. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Come hang out. It's where all the most scandalous shit happens. Not really, because it's more kind of like this all over the place. And we just have conversations. We hang out with each other and we have a good time. So troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Spread the word. Do all the things. I'll say that in just a sec. After the infamous and famous J-Tro. Sir, you have music playing in 3, 2, 1.
I just think when the black goo gets really flowing, the maybe juice makes it a little bit more understandable. And this is a feel-good one.
Right on.
I don't have any idea who it's by. If you have the chance to make someone happy, just do it. Some peoples are struggling silently. Maybe your act of kindness can make their day.
Yes, sir. That's what the world's about, isn't it? It's about being good to yourself so you can be good to other people. One more undercurrent of the show, and you guys are the best. Thank you, Kelly. Thanks, Rohan. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Ash. Special thanks to Ash for spending his whole damn night with us. I know most of you guys did too. Ash will be back on the show in the future, of course. He's a friend of the show for a very long time. Ash, tell us about your YouTube channel. You got 10 seconds. Go.
My YouTube channel, join it. It's great.
The end of the world.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Like and subscribe. All right.
No, honestly, I had taken a break. I was life stuff. It was really busy, crazy stuff. And my channel just kept getting views and likes. And I was like, damn, what's even happening? I don't even know how. But it's you guys, your interest in these subjects. You know, I'm interested in this subject. I'm watching this stuff anyway. So for me to bring it to you guys and just for me to know that other people are interested in this stuff helps me. It's like mentally, not to feel like a fucking crazy person. So I appreciate you guys and enjoy sharing this stuff with you and hearing everyone's takes. So you know, have my channel, Ash Reptilian from Mars, and I post stuff. And you know, like and comment, subscribe or be destroyed when I do inevitably invade the planet. But you know, I like coming here because we get to have a conversation, right? And so this was a good topic, super interesting. And again, I highly recommend that you guys take a look at that whole thing. You know, just put it on and listen for a little bit, and then go do something else. Come back, hit the continue button. Super interesting, a lot of different stuff in there. And yeah, again, thank you everyone for calling in and being active. And this is a great community you have here, Mike. Except for you suck, but everyone else is great.
Absolutely,
so.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's all one big happy accident. Life is but a dream. All right, so as we finish this up, thanks again to everybody, each and every one of you for listening. I see you out there, even though, right, like I can't read all the chat and all the things. I see you. I feel you. We feel the energy. Thank you so much for all of it, all the participation in the chat. Even if you're out there lurking and listening, we feel it. We feel the energy. Thank you so much for all that. Thanks to everybody for spending your time with us. If you want to help the show, easy peasy, spread the word. Listen to the podcast feed. There's ads baked in. Pennies come this way. And when pennies come this way, I can spend more time doing stuff like this. So there we go. As we finish, you guys know the drill. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. More Troubled Minds on the way tomorrow. This one's for Jed. The bad news is we're done. The good news is, God willing, we've got tomorrow. See you then. Have a great one, guys.